Welcome to the final installment of Last Ship to Lazmir. If it's not the final installment,
Hopefully.
then I will hit myself in the head with a blunt object very hard repeatedly. I'm Backwater J. Is my job to kill these people. Just go down the line here as I get your picks going. And Inanna, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Because I was late, wasn't it?
Yes. And totally not just because you're the first one on my screen.
Alright, so, hey, I play Inanna, and she is a fallen Asimar bard slash rogue, and she is heavily inclined towards dead things and using people's bones to turn them into different instruments. And she has a fairly dark personality where she really doesn't care about anybody except herself. So
she's just like you in real life.
Shut up, Jay. But yeah, you're right.
All right, and moving on, who do we have here? You can see who that is. Ah, yes, Mr. Electro Ninja.
Harry, played by me, Electro Ninja from Electro Ninja's lab, and I am a parrot, Aarakocra. I am a gunslinger fighter, as well as a rogue, and I cause mischief, and plan to cause a lot more mischief in the future, as so long as we don't die, which doesn't sound likely. But on my YouTube channel, which Jay will have a link to in the description, I make not Minecraft, My Hero Academia, and Miraculous.
Same
Objects.
difference. Yes, I just got the entire internet mad with me.
We should probably move on.
Oh, I thought you were still going. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Daishana, please introduce yourself and your character.
I'm Daishana, and I play, of course, Talia. Sea elf that has a secret, and of course, whoever watched the video last time probably knows what that is. And she's probably going to have some questions from Inanna, who also saw her secret, but I'll reveal what it'll probably be revealed what it is during this game, but we'll see.
Okay. Mr. Benjamin Fleeman.
Thor, Grin, Steel Vein, Dwarf, Forge, Cleric.
Succinctly said. And let's see, we don't have a Joker yet, so I will hold off on introducing that character.
Yeah, I guess he's just so exhausted, or she's so exhausted from swimming that she couldn't make it today.
Yeah, because swimming is so hard for a Triton.
Well,
It's not like it's like
whales
walking
so,
for them or anything.
For that, I'd say it was more like running.
Yeah, that's true. Less exhausting than probably for the rest of you. Particularly you, Mr. Bird Feathers person.
That got not nearly drowned.
That would
You're
be
only
really
mostly
funny.
dead. Alright, so I'm just setting up my actual recording screen here to where we're on our current thing. So to give a brief rundown of what's happened so far, these group of adventurers took a ride on a brand new deluxe luxury galleon named the Colossal, because nothing can go wrong there. Had been invaded by fishmen, which they later found out were occupied by these worm things that started taking over people on the ship. And after a while, it was you had found a body of a murdered halfling, and suspected that his daughter was host to one of these parasite things. Had suspected a lot of people were hosts to these, but had no real concrete proof thereof. Long story short, there was a extended investigation. Another body was found, and before really you could make heads or tails of the situation, the ship was suddenly caught in a maelstrom from out of nowhere. It was sucked down. People were washed overboard, bruised and battered by the waves. Finally had ended up beneath the whirlpool in a weird cavern and washed ashore in this subterranean space. Gigantic place. It is thrumming with some kind of metallic sound that you're not sure where it's coming from. That's even louder than the plummeting water at this point. But had managed to, as the ship was grounded against the sandbar, evacuate the passengers and much of the cargo. Because even with the girding of the ship, it is only a matter of time before the thing is just smashed to pieces. So you are on the shore at this point, have set up a sort of camp, had a mass service for those who were lost in the disaster, and had, for those of you who were not here at the end of the session, had gotten your short rest. So any short rest stuff that you have, hit dice that you need to spend, you may do so now if you haven't already. But with that, we can get back into the adventure.
And I had used Song of Rest, of course, to...
Yeah, so for those that don't remember, that will add an extra d6 if you are spending hit dice at all, but just once. Just one d6.
Which is helpful.
Incidentally, it is very dark down here. There is a bonfire going, but it does not light that far. Those of you with dark vision, you can see out your normal 60 feet, but you don't see much in that range. Just pretty much turbulent water and sandy shore at this point that kind of just extends out beyond the range of your vision.
How big is the piece of land we're on?
It stretches out as far as you can see. It seems to... there is a slight inward curvature, as if this is, there's... like, as if you were in something like resembling a circular chamber. But
Okay.
it's a very slight curvature, so if that is the case, it's a huge chamber.
I believe the answers are in that direction. I want to go in that direction looking for an answer to what is happening here. Does anybody want to come with me?
So to clarify, which direction are you talking?
Before we do that, just saying, like, make sure that...
And yeah, what did you said?
I said we should probably make sure that we get a few things taken care of and probably take a few members of the crew, but we should also probably set somebody... have somebody start training these people to actually be able to battle in case more Sahagins show up.
Or we can let them fend for themselves and do what we want to do.
I'm going to take that as a no, and I'm going to take off in that direction.
So which direction are you saying, just to
I
clarify?
said yes to you.
I guess I will follow him because I know he's going to get himself killed,
Right.
And I'll say, Captain, please make sure that these people, that some of these people are trained to actually fight, because we may need them, and anyone who can repair this ship needs to get on that.
Well, you know it at this point that every hand that can be spared for repairing the ship is on that duty already. But he said, of course, I will have the crew tend to that. So to clarify, Ben, what direction are you heading off in?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think I've heard. I think I heard that we were shipwrecked on a sandbar, and I think that you said it extends beyond where we can see.
It extends in,
So
it extends in both directions beyond your range of vision, yes.
So does it? Okay, so it's basically north or south.
More or less, yeah. It's northeast, southwest, essentially, at this point.
Okay, northwest, please.
Okay. So you're just heading basically along the shore?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, is there an inland, or is it just sandbar?
As far as you've seen, it's just sandbar at this point.
Okay, so yeah.
So if you
if
start
there's
heading,
only shore, then I'm going to go only shore. Yes.
so you will. I need to be on the right layer here. 1 second. And then I will reveal some more areas here. Yeah, it's complicated online DMing stuff. But basically, you see that the shore kind of extends. And I'm roughing this out here. This may not be exactly where you can see, but so you see it kind of starts to curve around here a little bit.
Is there a map we're supposed to be able to see?
Are you not seeing it?
I have a black background behind the
Okay,
characters.
try it scrolling down to the right and to the bottom. It's a large map, and I've only revealed a tiny portion of it at this point.
Okay.
But essentially, you've got it's. I'm not sure I did this justice describing it before, but yeah. So it's got kind of a cove type of area that you look like you're kind of basically working your way around at this point.
I found something. Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of roughly boat-shaped thing that is the the wreck of the Colossal.
So the boat-shaped thing is the boat?
Yep.
Wow. Cool.
And so basically at this point you've made your way around pretty much to I'm still on the wrong layer? Oh, here we go. You made yourself to around there. Yeah, exactly. You do notice at this point, let me back out and make sure what I'm saying is accurate. Before, actually make me a perception check, please.
Me?
Yes.
Anyone who's
Okay.
Just Thorgren at this point. Oh, yeah, if you're with Thorgren. Sorry, I didn't catch that you were going with him.
Okay.
So Thorgren, you definitely can tell this thrumming noise that you've been hearing. When you started out in the boat, it was coming from primarily this direction here, to the kind of southeast. Now when you're up here, you do hear it's coming from that direction still, but you also hear something coming from kind of to the north of you in about equal volume.
The entire island is alive.
Shauna?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah. Did you come with us?
Yeah, I might as well. This way, I prevent him from getting at least probably prevent one of you from doing something stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't understand my goals, but thank you.
I was talking about you.
Right back at you. So what's happening?
So I say we move. We should be moving towards the sounds.
But we have sounds in both directions.
Which one is louder?
At this point, they're about equal volume. It's kind of like you've moved further away from one and closer to the other.
Well, if we're going in this direction, we might as well continue going in this direction.
Okay.
Towards the one that's now going to be closer.
Do you want to head straight toward the sound, or do you want to continue following the shoreline?
I'd say we should go towards the straight towards the sound.
I agree.
Okay. Then we will go ahead and reveal some more here.
I want you to mark this on your calendar. Something very important just happened.
So,
Thorgren and Perry agreed on something.
crazy talk.
Oh,
That's
it'll be a holiday next year.
too much hallucinogenic seaweed, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just.
Well, I mean, if you had let me, if you had actually stayed, and we could have discussed things, then I would have said we should have gone south towards the.
So do you want to discuss that in character or just chatting aside?
We were going to be. We had some things that needed to be dealt with at the actual place.
This conversation, is this between me and you, or is this between Perry and Thorgren?
Perry and Thorgren.
Okay,
because we all basically there was a lot of chaos that was going on down there, and
Okay.
have them at least be prepared, and maybe we could have brought some of the crew or other people who were trained to be able to come with us to.
And I was told repeatedly in previous sessions that we're not a party. We don't have an obligation to each other. Unless that changed,
Yeah, I'm part.
unless that changed, your argument presumes upon an element of communalism that we don't have.
The entire ship has a bit of communalism right now.
That's entirely in how you read things.
Community of a ship because we all just got sunk down into a freaking maelstrom. So right now we all need to work together to save the ship.
And every single professional is doing so.
Wait, what?
We could
Why don't, if you feel so strongly, why don't you go do that?
Stay behind a little bit longer.
Why don't you go do that?
I'm here to make sure that you don't get yourself killed.
I decline your sympathy if that helps you go back and do what you want to do.
You're gonna get yourself killed, so I'm coming as anyways. Better to just get this taken care of than.
That's your own choice.
All right, let's get into this. Let's find out what this frickin' sound is.
Off to work.
Sorry, Vanessa, were you saying something?
Sorry, I just really wasn't paying attention for a good minute.
Okay. So
I don't know
basically,
what's going on.
Basically, Thorgren and Perry are arguing about how we should have been working with the rest of the crew.
Working up to a fist fight.
Oh, how about you guys just both shut the fuck up and we can just, keep going?
Okay.
Sounds good.
all right. So you guys get to about here. At this point, you kind of just barely have the shoreline to your left in line of sight. But you do see ahead of you there is basically what appears to be a bronze boiler of gargantuan proportions. This thing is it's more or less as tall as you can see. There appears to be some kind of pipe going out of the top of it, but beyond that, there's just not enough range of vision to see where it leads. But this is definitely the source of the thrumming noise. It is loud as you approach this thing.
Fire at the base of it?
No, there is not. There is no heat radiating off of this either.
We should go back and get one of the children from the boat and see if we can put them inside.
No. I volunteer Thorgren. He's smaller. He's smaller than the rest of
I
us.
volunteer Perry. He's delicious.
I draw my sword.
Put your fucking sword away, you pansy ass chicken. Put it away.
Enough, you two. You can kill
Listen,
each other.
Inanna, he's very sensitive about his chicken.
I am not a chicken!
No, but you have a chicken, she says. Okay.
Taishana, just so you know, your character voice is like 1/10 of the volume of your normal speaking voice, so I just turned you up a little bit, but try to project a little bit more.
Well, I'm not surprised you weren't able to hear me that well because of everyone talking, but I was just like, enough, you guys. We can kill each other when this is over.
It's ma'am.
Or we might just die right now. Who knows?
Don't make it sound so romantic.
Like an axe.
Any day.
Okay.
You can make it look like an accident, I'll be impressed. But I don't really.
Now we're gonna make it look like lunch.
I'm gonna try to check this thing out. What would I have to roll for that?
Describe to me what you're doing exactly to check it out.
Just basically I go up to it, I try to tap on it, see if I get a response to it. Like maybe if there's something in there, maybe it'll tap back the same way I do.
Okay. Roll me a investigation, please.
Not my best thing, but I'll try anyway.
Pretty good roll. You tap on this. It is definitely some kind of metallic substance, just from the feel and the way that it not so much rings as like almost, I don't, like if you were like totally out of character, if you were like on board a submarine and something tapped against the hull, it's that kind of like large, like resonant, reverberating, kind of chiming sound, very deep. As you tap against this thing. Obviously, it's almost lost in the thrumming that this thing is already making. You don't hear anything particularly responsive to that. It doesn't feel warm to the touch. It does, however, as you're tapping against it, you can feel vibrations, like strong vibrations passing through this material.
I'm gonna go around it, feeling for a door.
Why don't you roll me an investigation check, please?
Okay.
Oh, good roll.
Holy shit!
You do not find a door. I'm gonna say, correct me if I'm presuming too much, based on this roll, that you're flying and kind of checking this thing out from all angles.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do a good flyer on this thing. It takes you maybe about 5 minutes to really give it a thorough inspection. While there does appear to be a pipe going up out of it, and basically up as far as you can see, even from the top of this thing. There appears to be a kind of very solid, not a weld, but like a join between the two pieces at that point. Beyond that, there does not seem to be any gaps or cracks or doorways or hatches or anything like that in the material of this, whatever it is.
I'm gonna try and see if I can break the weld a bit.
How are you going to attempt to do this?
Shit. I'm kind of thinking of using my claws.
Would you like some help?
This is high up, dude.
The hammer might hit you, it might hit the weld, one of the two. Each one's fine, right?
I mean, I could swipe your hammer and use it myself, probably.
The hammer is heavy.
You could ask.
It would be difficult to get up while you're flying and use it in any kind of exacting capacity.
Good point. Don't I have a... I'll use my short sword, then. Because I don't... that one I don't care about as much as my scimitar, I guess.
Okay.
So, my short sword to try and break through it.
Roll me a... I guess in that case, roll me an attack roll. Okay. Yeah, it basically, you swing that sword as hard as you can. It connects with the metal where you believe is pretty much where the join is happening. The sword just rings out like it was a tuning fork and you just struck it. Matter of fact, you feel a little bit of like a jarring motion in your wrist as this thing connects. There does not appear to be any damage whatsoever to the joint.
I kind of want to fly up to the very top and see where, if it is. So wait, well, I guess for my investigation, I probably did go up all the way to the top.
If that's your intention to do, yeah, I'll allow that. So basically, you fly up. It is another probably 100 feet or so. With this thing, basically, this pipe essentially enters into solid rock above you. It appears you have found the ceiling of this cavern, and this whatever this is passes through it.
I doubt that I can still see them.
You can't.
So this is
not from where you are.
Would this be about 100 feet from the very bottom, or
100 feet from where you were at the top of the boiler type of apparatus?
Okay. So, and where was the top of the apparatus?
It was about, I'm going to say another 100 feet from the ground. So total of about 200.
So I guess I'll come down and say, well, we now know that that this entire freaking cavern is 200 feet tall. But I don't know what to do with this thing.
Me either. I haven't seen anything like this before.
Would a Warforged cleric know that this was a machine?
Oh,
'Cause I
definitely.
feel like in my
For sure.
head, I know this is a machine.
You know this is a machine of
So
some
can I-
sort.
I'd like to perform an investigation check to see if I can learn anything about this machine, what it does, what its parts are, anything like that.
Sure, you may do so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
You know what? I think
nice.
I'm gonna Yeah, I'm not gonna retroactively do that because that's kind of backtracking a whole lot. But I will go ahead and roll severity for that. Natural 20. Okay, not too earth-shattering, but you take it basically, first of all, by the fact this thing is radiating no heat, doesn't seem to have any kind of fire sources nearby. It is not a boiler, for certain. From the amount of vibration, the amount of noise it's making, your guess would be that this is some sort of pump assembly.
Okay. Okay. I think then that this part is anyway, I think the other end of the island must have whatever the other end of this pump is. Probably.
So you want to basically keep exploring the direction you have been?
Well, okay, so we're going north, right?
You're going, at this point, you've been heading mostly north, yes.
Okay, so if this was, and this is a hypothesis, the source of the northern noise, and there's a southern or southeastern noise, and if they're parts of one machine, then if this part, anyway, I think it's likely that the other end has some different machinery.
So do you want to backtrack and check out that other sound source?
I do. I don't know if anybody wants to go with me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do want to go. But
What
I
would be
think
the point of
for me,
sticking around?
I'm going to attempt to go straight towards the other sound using my flight.
Okay. So you will, you'll arrive there somewhat quicker. Actually, you'll arrive there quite a bit quicker because your flight speed is what, 50?
60.
60, wow.
Let me make sure.
Anyways, you arrive there quite a bit before everybody else
Oh, it
does.
is 50.
And you find...
Excuse me.
Wait, can't Inanna do the same thing?
what thing? Same thing?
She has levitation, right?
She has levitate, which is basically just up and down movement. You would have to provide any horizontal movement by, grabbing onto things or what have you. You do also have fly once a day, however, which would do definitely what you wanted to do.
Okay, well, I could do. Can I do that?
So
So that
yeah,
I can keep up with
yeah.
Harry and.
You can definitely do that. That will last you an hour.
That's
You
right
are
there.
going to need to play the violin to initially cast the spell, but you can put it away when you're done with that, and it will maintain its effect for an hour unless you lose concentration for whatever reason. Wait, it might not be an
Do
hour.
I
Actually.
roll? Do I roll it or do I just?
You don't need to roll now.
press it? Do I do it?
It's just basically if you get into a situation where you're taking damage or something of that effect, then you would have to roll to maintain concentration at that point. It's actually you actually get 10 minutes of this. I was getting it confused with invisibility, I think. But 10 minutes is definitely more than enough time to get over to this thing. So let me go ahead and reveal what you see here. You guys both fly over. You see basically there is a device much like the first. Seems to be, again, making that loud thrumming noise. Seems to not be radiating any heat, but does seem to be vibrating. Large pipe going up out of the top of it.
I'm back.
It's right next to the ship. We should have just gone here first. Oh my gosh.
You do see
So,
also as you're moving
and
around
it-
here, you've actually found the wall of this cavern as well. Over here, I'm still on reveal. But over here, there is basically a stone wall. Looks very much like a kind of smooth cave wall that you would assume kind of curves up and into the ceiling if it's anything like the other location.
Well, this might, if we can move everyone inland, we might be able to use this area as a good place of just being safe.
Beachhead.
Tent location. It's not too far away from the ship, and we've got and with this huge thing, we have protection from the waves, and eventually we might be able to climb up or get out of here somehow.
Are you flying up above this thing again?
Yeah,
Like seeing where the pipe
I'm gonna
goes?
inspect it again,
Yeah.
just like I did before.
Okay. Very similar story. It goes up about 100 feet, kind of disappears into the rock ceiling.
Okay. But it's 100. It's basically the two objects are basically exactly the same.
As near as you can tell, yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Incidentally,
I'm
none
going
of you
to-
recognize this type of metal. It has kind of a bronzish appearance to it, but you particularly, Thorgrim, can tell that it's not bronze. You're not sure what it is, but it's not bronze.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we should probably get the those who are injured and ill and need to recover, especially over here. This is probably the safest location and well defendable. And if the ship is lost, then this is our best bet to regroup and get ready for another attempt to get out of here, whatever attempt we're going to make.
Who are you and what have you done with Captain Perry?
What are you talking about? I've been planning to get people to safety since the beginning.
Since episode 1? Since episode 1?
No, since we got in here. I'm not.
'Cause I remember a guy
I'm not
who-
gonna kill everyone just because of the fact. If we're stuck down here, I'd rather people be safe than.
Well,
'Cause I
I would
remember a
like
guy
to
that had...
And I'd rather people be killed by my hand instead of by frickin' monsters.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Inama.
He said monsters. It's close
That
enough.
too. I'd rather be the one to kill people than have any of you have anything else kill them.
Okay, if we're done talking over each other for the time being, I wanted to say that I remember a Captain Perry who had to be bribed in order to help the group, who is now conveniently trying to help the group for nothing. I find it very suspicious.
That's because we were safe on the ship, dude.
Yeah, this Captain Perry, you would not know this out of character, Ben, because you had left at that point during the previous session. But this Captain Perry was basically one that was kind of instrumental in orchestrating the offloading of people, the setting up of a campsite. Had coordinated with the captain in terms of what to do in these emergency situations. So he actually has been very helpful of late.
I just
I would like-
the frickin' I don't want to have people dying unless it's by my hand.
So romantic.
Well, I'd like to continue exploring.
Yes.
What direction would you like to continue exploring from here?
I'm gonna head back to the ship and suggest that we move those who need to that location for security.
All right. So
I think I'll just continue going south since we're
Okay.
or that second
Is
boiler. Like
is-
we might as well just continue
is-
going.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so Thorgrim and Nan are going to continue exploring south. Is anyone else going with them?
I know.
Perry is heading back to the ship, obviously.
Right, I was about to say, I know he's headed back to the ship. I suppose I could. Originally I was gonna say I'll go back with him because I don't know if that mother and daughter will trust anyone else to go with other than the captain, maybe. But I'll continue exploring with the other two.
Okay, so Perry, you're going to head back to the ship by yourself, and I will come back to that. So the majority of the party seems to be going this direction. So you head south. Shortly, the wall begins to kind of curve around. At this point, you notice from further to your west, there is another thrumming noise. To speed this up, you find another assembly that looks more or less identical to the first two. You keep going from there?
Yes.
Okay. So starts to curve around a little bit more. From what you've gathered at this point, it's more or less a circular chamber. You come upon a fourth machine, more or less identical to the first three.
Okay.
You gonna keep going?
Yep.
Yep.
Just to speed this
Until
up.
I see something new, I'm not stopping.
All right. So basically, just to speed this up here, you find a total of 6 of these machines that seem to be more or less evenly spaced around the perimeter of this chamber. I'm going to go ahead and reveal this because I'm assuming somebody explores that at some point. So there don't seem to be, going around the walls of this chamber, there don't seem to be really any openings. But
Hold up. Why is there a large dark circle in the middle of the water?
You mean the black thing?
Yeah, why is it black in the middle of the water? What are you hiding?
Nobody has explored there yet.
We can't search for the water!
Some of you can't. Basically, I'm revealing stuff as you guys are exploring it. So when you guys have explored that, I will reveal it. But based on your memory of this, there's basically back toward the center of the chamber is where all the water is coming down out of the maelstrom, and just like decreasingly turbulent waves coming out from there as it's basically plummeting into this subterranean pool.
Okay. So is there like any fresh food or water in the area, or is it just the boilers?
Just the boilers. The only really food and fresh water that you've seen is what came off of the ship. It's a good guess that the water in this pool is salt water and not really drinkable. I guess I should reveal a little bit of that too.
Inanna looks at Dashana and points to the water and says, "Go, fishy, go."
Smack him back in the head.
I will fucking stab you.
Oh, you could.
Yeah.
But then you'd be down.
Yes, Thorgrim is disappearing for 5 whole minutes to go answer a call of nature. Thorgrim will be back in 5 whole minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
After you said that, I was like, well, you could. But then you'd be down someone to help you fight.
I'd be willing to take that risk if you smack me on the back of the head again.
Don't call me a fish.
I'm sorry, but the bottom part looks a little,
I take it you've never seen a mermaid then.
Do I look like I go out into water? Often.
I'm away from from you guys for 5 minutes, and I'm kidding. You guys have probably been doing this for like an hour or something.
Oh, more than an hour at this point. This is a vast chamber.
Okay,
I mean,
so
just
I've probably
look.
already started getting people.
So,
Probably a
so
good
if
majority of the people are probably already at the place by this point.
so, just to give you. Oh, matter of fact, I'm reminding myself I should zoom this map that people are seeing out a little bit. Not that much. We'll see if that. I guess I need to go to the next level. Okay, but yeah, just to put things in perspective. So again, that little boat shape where you started out, that is the Colossal. That ship is about 100-something feet in length. Just to give you an idea of the scope of this chamber. So this expedition has been taking a while.
Wow.
I've returned.
So, welcome back.
I feel 5 gold bars lighter.
So,
It's true what they say about dwarves.
so we know where the Colossal is where all the water is, obviously, right?
Well, there is a large pool of water in the center of this thing that really, as I said, has not been explored yet.
All right, and that's like where the direction where we were heading is?
That's
Or
What's the direction you're heading in?
in the center of the chamber,
you know,
however you
the
want to view that.
suggestion.
I mean, you guys have basically been skirting this thing, essentially.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I can. I'm just like, fine, I'll check it out.
Question.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Before
So I
you-
was gonna give you
Talia?
some-
Alia, are you concerned about potential dangers in that water?
I'd be. But I'm not there, so I can't say anything.
Talia, are you concerned about dangers in that water?
A little, but I should be fine.
I was going to offer to perhaps throw a big rock in there and see if anything responds. That way, at least know if there's something big and dangerous in there.
Do you see a big rock here? Do you see a
I
big
was gonna
rock?
look. I don't see anything. The map does not contain rocks, no.
Mhm.
There you go.
I could just throw you in there.
You don't see any
Go ahead,
rocks.
try it. I'll fucking stab you.
You don't see any rocks bigger than, say fist size in the immediate vicinity, to answer your question. Mostly
Sure.
it's sand.
Okay, forget my offer. I mean, the offer to throw Inanna in the water is still standing.
Nah.
All right, go for it, Deshauna. We appreciate your bravery.
Okay, so
Well, it
Talia,
was either bravery or being pushed in, so she really didn't have enough.
And of course, I do go into the water, and this will be the first time that Thorgrim sees it, and Nana already has. When she gets like into the water enough where she can actually start swimming, she lets her disguise drop again.
so you see basically where
Okay.
legs were before, there is a giant fishtail.
Exactly. Then, of course, goes out basically as far as she can. Then will go on. Then goes under to see what she can, to see what I can find down there.
So your plan is to basically go along the surface of this water first and see if there's anything to be found, and then start exploring underneath?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to... This will take a while, obviously. I'm kind of fast-forwarding here because it's a little boring. So you see... Very boring. So again, you see, much like I described, there is still that, torrential, essentially tube of water coming down where the bottom of the maelstrom is, which is making a lot of turbulence in that area. It's really tough to even just swim normally there. You kind of just have to, drift where the water takes you, more or less. But you find nothing remarkable other than that on the surface of the water. You start diving down. You find that this is a The pool, first of all, is remarkably deep. As near as you can tell, it's nearly hemispherical. Reasonably close to the shore. And basically in a location corresponding to each of these machines that you found, there appears to be a massive disc about 50 feet across. It appears to be of the same bronze type of material. And it's just kind of lying flush with the so it's at an angle because the surface is at an angle, but essentially it's lying flush with the surface of the rock here.
Is there any type of hatch or some type of door on it?
Not that you can see from a distance. How close are you getting to this?
I'm gonna try to get as close as possible so I can try and make out what's on there. If there's any markings, if there's any type of hatch or door.
So you're basically going to try to investigate this thing.
Yeah.
Give me just click on the map of location that you're trying to investigate based on one of the machines here.
Let me see where they're at. I gotta scroll around to look for it.
Yeah.
What would be the closest one to me? Since you said while I was swimming around, I see them.
The closest ones would, well, I mean, if you explored the surface of the water first, it could be any of them, honestly. It just depends. I mean, if you started your search underwater where you started your search up on the top of the water, then it would be either... I need to be on the right thing again. It would be either right about there or right about here.
Mystery pinged. Then again, I don't have my map out that far.
Basically, it would be to the direct south or the one that's next to the ship.
I'll try and check the one that's next to the ship.
Okay. So this will take probably about a minute for you to check it out thoroughly. So basically, you go down to this thing. You start kind of like just like scoping around. All of a sudden, there is this What's that?
I was going to say, what do I have to roll for it? But
we'll get to that in a second. But basically, so you're checking this thing out for about maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and all of a sudden, this thing starts to move, and there is just this like immense noise. You can feel this pressure essentially as this thing essentially opens up. I need a dexterity save from you.
Dex save?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, you are a very, very lucky worm person. Okay. So this thing basically, you managed to swim free, but it's a close call. This thing basically opens up, and as it opens, it just like sucks a massive amount of water into it, and then quickly shuts again after a few seconds. If you had to guess based on what Thorgrim, I assume you shared what you were able to ascertain about this machine. Yeah, you did. You assume based on what Thorgrim has told you that this must be the intake for whatever pump is in operation here.
Of course, I swim back to
the disaster machine.
I swim back to Nana and Thorgrim.
What did you find? Yeah.
Of course, when she comes out of the water, she puts her disguise back up, using her sea elf looks to be able to walk on the land, obviously.
By the way, let me finish describing what you actually saw during your scouting down there.
Okay.
You do see there is also a massive kind of conduit that's clearly not natural in origin, but is basically hidden down below the surface. It's actually a short distance to the south of the Colossal. It's right about here, but a good ways down. There does appear to be a tunnel of some sort. It's about 20 feet in diameter.
Of course, I'm letting Inanna and Dorgrin know about everything I found under there.
Thank you very much.
Go for the tunnel.
So it's about 20 feet in diameter. It leads in a downward direction. I'm just basically describing what you're seeing as you're passing this by. If you want to explore further, let me know. It was not far from the ship, actually, but a good distance downward. Kind of close to the location of the plate that almost sucked you in.
You should go explore it.
I think this is a machine that wrecks ships on purpose.
Before he's stuck outside again.
Oh,
I'm sorry, was the chicken talking?
Maybe you
Well-
should tell us about what you found before he gets stuck outside again.
ooh.
Deshauna will more than likely get pulled out into the actual ocean if he goes through the hole.
I don't mean to be super woke, but it's confusing if you don't stick with the in-character gender.
Good point.
Yeah, also, if we can keep commentary from those that are not actually involved in the scene to a minimum, that would help me as a DM.
Right.
Sorry.
Let's let everyone know what we found. Maybe we can get some help with trying to explore that tunnel, but I don't know how many I don't know what we could break up for someone to breathe underwater.
It's a good plan.
Fine, if we must.
So
We
it's
must.
the plan at this point then to head back to the ship?
Yeah.
Okay. So cutting back to you, Perry. So you approach the ship. Looks like, more or less more of the same. There's people are just, some of them are just despondent. Some of them are just, trying to make the best of it, getting things, prepared. Looks like looks like your big tabaxi friend is actually kind of making a pot of soup, essentially, from what they have on hand. Smells actually pretty good. And you do see the captain kind of basically looks like he's barking directions to people and et cetera, coordinating essentially.
All right. So
I'd
I'll
like
go
to
to
s-
the captain and say, I think I might have found a good location that will work for security for at least a little while.
Oh, do tell.
Slightly to the south, we have there's a big mechanical pipe. Not sure exactly what it is, but it's right next to the wall, and it might be able to keep us all safe and sheltered. And we would only have to keep security on two sides.
Roll me a persuasion, please. Also, bear in mind, it is definitely loud in that area.
Yeah,
Like,
and I will
painfully
also tell him
loud.
that as well.
Yeah.
I will tell him that.
Okay.
As well.
All right. So roll me a persuasion with disadvantage then. I need to look at your sheet.
That's shit.
This is going to be you. Oh, come on, work for me. Here we go.
It's not the best location.
Actually tied him. What do I do with that? Show me, he says. Like, he doesn't want to commit until he's actually, seen this thing for himself, essentially, is the impression you get off this guy. Are you there, Electra?
Yeah, I'm still here. What's up?
Oh, he just basically asked you to show him.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'll show him.
Okay. So you go back to this area. You see his lips start to move for a second, and it's like he hasn't really realized that he's not. And this guy is not a soft voice. First of all, his speech is just being drowned out by the by whatever this is. He finally seems to realize that and just kind of starts shouting at you. Yes, I see what you mean about the noise. Perhaps this would be a good place to stay. My only concern is that if trouble approaches, we won't be able to hear it.
I'm well aware, but it's better than the alternative, I'd say. I'm also shouting.
Very well, this may be a bit of a hard sell with the crew and particularly the passengers, but I do see the wisdom in this course of action. So,
well, we should...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I guess we should head back and actually figure out what we're going to do.
So you head back. He starts basically coordinating essentially a second movement of the what, for lack of a better term, you have to call like a small shanty town, basically, that's been set up here. So he starts basically orchestrating the crew and passengers to help move everything. I need to roll an interaction thing here with myself. That's always fun for you guys. So basically, he approaches the tabaxi that's cooking the stew. He's got this like almost comically oversized wooden ladle, like somebody cannibalized a paddle and just turned it into a spoon. He kind of goes up to the tabaxi. You just see the tabaxi like shake his head and grunt something. You're far enough away you don't really hear what's being said.
I'm gonna go up to him and ask what's the problem.
I move when this gets done. You see him basically like from out of nowhere, essentially. Like there's a few crates and things around, but he pulls out like a live chicken, sticks it on top of one of these crates, and just like with a meat cleaver, just slices its head off in front of you. Then he basically, at this point, goes and picks up a large, like looks like a wooden punch bowl, filled with what you would guess is ale. Just kind of looks at you, sticks his tongue in, licks once, licks twice, licks 3 times.
Question.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You're not in the scene quite yet, though.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to keep up with the group, apparently I'm not. Okay, thank you.
Well, you're keeping up with the group, but this is what's happening while all that stuff was happening with you guys.
Good, excellent.
Yeah.
This is what happened when you split the party.
Yep.
Did you stop virtue signaling?
Look, I get that you need to make this, but is it at all possible that we can move it to the safer location? If not, I'll stay behind and make sure that you get this done.
You see he's kind of... actually, roll me a insight check, please.
Come on. There we go.
You see, first of all, he is bristling, not like bristling like he's necessarily scared of anything. Just, he doesn't like you. As this is going on, he's basically starting to like chop up and like pluck feathers out of this chicken that he's just killed. He basically turns to you and says, I move when the soup's done. Ain't no point in starting over again. You do get the impression, based on that insight also, this is a man who can more or less take care of himself.
Yeah, he was in the mess hall, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
He's what, those of you that were there, and Perry, based on your observations now, this is more or less the ship's cook.
Why do you not like me, friend?
He just kind of basically at this point just turns away from you and starts working on his stuff, ignoring you.
You got a problem with Eric Hakra?
I think he's seen your channel.
Roll me another insight, please.
Yeah.
If you realize that I'm a pirate, then I seriously have not been doing my job right.
This guy does seem to just have a knee-jerk reaction to Eric Hawker in particular.
You know what? I'm gonna I guess put my I'm gonna bring out my sword and start giving him some crazy story of giving him the crazy story of how I got it. And
roll me an initiative, please.
As basically a way to make him stop worrying so much about the food and get him moving.
Roll me an initiative. So, you don't have a token on this map, do you? Let me get your token on this map.
I don't think
Oh
any
my gosh, what the fro? What have I done?
You've drawn a sword in front of somebody who just genuinely doesn't like you, is what you've done.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm gonna pull out the sword entirely. I'm basically taking it off of my belt, drawing it a little bit, and showing him like a marking. That's all I'm doing. I'm not drawing it like I'm gonna fight him.
Okay, well, I need to roll something for him then. You see him basically, as you're going for your sword, just kind of claws come out. He bristles a little bit more. He kind of sees that you're not actually drawing your weapon. Just kind of claws retract. But he's still not paying much attention to you.
Alright, I say, don't worry, just showing you something.
No response.
And... Huh?
No response.
No. Okay. So I draw it out a little bit, showing him a symbol that's on the blade, and I'm going to tell him about about my time in the Navy and how I got the sword.
Okay, what are you telling him in particular?
Basically my best friend, who unfortunately, in the same battle that I lost my eye, gave me this sword as... And when he died, he begged me to keep the sword with me and to tell his family. He didn't want to be forgotten, and so I used this sword to to share his story. And the stories of every single time that he saved my life and that I saved his.
Okay, but why would he care?
And he was a tabaxi, much like yourself.
Are you being factual with this, or is this made up?
This is factual.
Okay, then roll me a persuasion check. I'm going to say with disadvantage. Oh, that's what happened. Well,
Alright, persuasion. Please be good rolls.
okay.
I wish it was with advantage, because that would have been awesome.
Yeah, no, even a normal roll would have been awesome, but, okay, and then we're going to roll one of these for you. He just grunts. Like, doesn't even look your way, doesn't even justify you with a response.
Turkey.
I told you my interactions with Tabaxi. Why don't you tell me some of your stories of Eric Kakra?
Let's get a room.
He's not responding to you at this point. He's just cooking and essentially looks like he's hoping you'll just go away.
Well, I guess if he's getting mad that I'm telling him stories, maybe I should just be like, I should signal to the captain to just start moving everyone else, and I'll keep working at him.
Oh, you're making all the friends today. Okay, so basically about this time, this has been a little bit while, you know, there's been storytelling, etc. But the rest of you guys kind of try to start to shuffle into the area. You notice that at this point, probably about half of the camp has been moved away. You would presume, based on your conversation, that they had been moved to that location next to the machine. You do see Perry and this large tabaxi gentleman. I would say having a conversation, but it's like Perry talking to a very hairy brick wall.
Perry, leave him be.
Listen to the sea elf.
We're trying to get him to move. That's why.
Who's we? Who's we?
The captain.
That you mean is you. There's no we.
We're trying to get everyone to move to the safety of between the rock and the boiler or whatever it is.
Does your captaincy make you a plural?
The actual captain is helping me out here, dude.
I don't see the captain helping you at all. I
Until
see
he
the captain
figures out
there.
what a con artist you are.
The captain is helping the other people.
Until he figures out what a con artist you are.
Did you even know that I'm a con artist?
Would have to be
you-
bribed to help the group. Yes, ma'am. Hello?
I was tired. 2, I wanted to sleep, and 3, I wanted to sleep.
Good people don't make those kind of excuses, Perry.
Oh, I do.
But you're chaotic neutral.
That's only because I don't protect him.
Technically, I'm evil. So.
Thorgren keeps going on about this chaotic neutral thing. None of you are quite sure what he's talking about.
You're right about that. You're right about that. So, you wanted to give information to Perry, and then we wanted to talk to the captain about getting some more help, right?
Right.
So, you want to try and tell Perry if see if he'll have to help us?
Perry, I found something when I went underwater to explore.
What is it?
Thorgren's theory is right. These are some kind of pumps.
I mean, it makes...
There's also a cave down there I found. And I'm not sure how deep it goes, and I'm not sure what we could rig up to get other people to help other people breathe underwater, but I know I could go down and explore it. Drawback is I may need help.
Well, if Arn were here, is she yet? No. Okay. But if Arn is up to it, maybe she could help you out. She's a pretty good swimmer herself. I'm worried because depending on where those first off, wherever those pipes go out, it's either going to be really far away, and we're going to get sucked down again. Far out, you're not going to be able to get back to us to tell us what's happened. But if it's too close, then we're never going to be able to get out.
It's not
So,
But also, on top of that, going through those tunnels may end up bringing you to, it may eventually lead you to getting cut up and destroyed. We don't know what the machines are doing, except for the fact that they might be pumps. And if I don't know much about pumps, but more than likely there's some mechanical stuff in there, and that could kill people very easily.
So I have a thought. What if we just tied a, fairly large amount of rope to Talia, and then we let her go down there, and if she pulls on the rope, we pull her back out. We'll just have a pussycat boy over here pull her back up, He doesn't have anything against the elves.
But he is making soup.
Been talking to him.
So, just sorry, I've been cutting out a bit here, but just to clarify, if it hasn't been clarified already, the tunnel that Talia found is different from the actual drain plug things that she found. The tunnel is just basically looks like a straight tunnel. It looks like it's artificially made, but it does not look like it's part of this pipe assembly.
Okay, so okay, if that's what we know, then we need to stay away from the pumps, and if you want to explore that tunnel, then then I guess the whole grabbing a rope thing would actually make sense, but it's going to be challenging.
I can think of something that's more challenging.
What's that?
Trying to get that pussycat to be your friend. It's very.
Trust me, I know. Tabaxi are notorious for not trusting people.
Well, I've always known that cats have a fondness for eating birds, but perhaps you just taste foul.
There's a recipe for barbecued parrot in the chat, right?
Yes, I did see that.
Yes. I was hoping Perry enjoyed that too. So, do we want to talk to the captain and get more help? Because I am strong enough and I have hundreds of feet of rope, and we can go back to the tunnel and send you back in if you want to.
It does seem a good idea. We may need... I'm not doubting how strong you are, of course. But we may need extra help just in case, because we don't know what's down there.
Okay. I would like to speak to...
Go over...
You're gonna go where?
I want to go over to the cat person and begin serenading him with a delightful version of What's New Pussycat.
There's no Tom Jones in this universe.
You don't know that.
Yes.
What's new, Pussycat? Whoa.
Roll me a performance with disadvantage for using a copyrighted work. Darn you. Let's see, and that is again a straight up tie. It's been happening a lot. He seems to be more or less ignoring you, focusing on the soup. You notice as the song goes on, he's kind of like, maybe not intentionally, but kind of starts stirring in rhythm to it.
You know what? So wait, did you guys tell me about the that the way that we came in is still there?
Wait, it is, right?
No.
The pillar of water?
I don't know that anybody has really explored that closely. There does appear to still be water coming down from it.
I could probably fly through. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but if it's not too deep, if depending on how thick it is, I might be able to break through really quickly and then fly out and see where we are.
Perry, I'd like to ask a favor of you.
What?
Would you see how much rope the captain will spare for a tunnel operation? So we can get a couple thousand feet. Because you're his friend.
Sure, I'll
Thank
go
you.
talk to the captain.
Thank you, Perry. I would like to attempt to start a different conversation with the Tabaxi.
Okay.
Yeah, before or after I finish my song?
After.
But
Oh, you know
actually, as I'm leaving, I'm going to say, see if you can get him to come with us. We need to get moving.
Would you stop? So is your song finished?
Yeah, it's
So
done.
Perry's gone and he's not commenting anymore on this conversation. So I want to hear the rest of your song.
No, it's done. You're good.
Okay, thank you. Does the Tabaxi have a proper name?
Not that you know of. I mean, doubtless, but nobody's introduced him.
Sure. I apologize for the dumb parrot. What's in the soup?
You
Yeah, sure.
fool! Jay didn't make a recipe.
Chicken, gourds, a little bit of celery, there's some collard greens. We got some paprika. Whatever this is, he kind of holds up a like random spice bottle.
It looks good.
Whiskey.
Are you sure there's enough blood?
No blood in soup. Makes it congeal.
I saw you put a whole chicken in there. Okay.
He was properly butchering the chicken and draining the blood out and stuff. I didn't explain the whole process, but yeah, he's not putting the whole bird in there.
I take you for a wagering man, Tabaxi. I would like to present a wager to you. We arm wrestle, and if I win, you help me and my friends explore the tunnel with your vast Tabaxi strength. And if you win, we all help you finish your soup.
Wait a second. I didn't sign up for manual labor.
Not a wagering man.
You signed up for a manual. Huh?
Not a wagering man, and I don't need help cooking.
Okay. So you think you're not strong enough?
Got nothing to prove to you, dwarf.
Oh, you're intimidated by dwarves. That's interesting.
He kind of basically just does not respond. He's just working on the soup.
I'd hate to have the captain think you were afraid of dwarves.
No response.
And Nana goes in for another round of What's New Pussycat. No, I'm kidding.
He kind of basically after a few taunts, he just kind of like slowly turns his head, like not even stopping with the stirring. You want help? Maybe you should just ask.
Would you please help us?
Soup first, then I'll help.
Do we help or wait?
Well,
Are you asking him?
Yes.
Wait.
Okay.
and we'll do.
All right. While we're waiting for that, what happens with me and the captain?
Romantically?
So you're going to get rope?
Yeah.
Well,
Not unusual.
I'm also going to explain the situation to him.
so well, which are you doing first?
I'm basically going to tell him. So so the other explorers found a tunnel underwater pretty close to us, and they want to use some, and they need some rope in order to go explore it.
That seems prudent given the circumstances. How much rope do you need?
All of it.
They're saying like 1,000 feet.
He kind of basically pulls aside what looks like... have you guys actually... No, you haven't met this person before, but basically pulls aside this hobgoblin gentleman.
Wait, are you talking about Hobgoblin that Inanna tried to sleep with?
I'm talking about the hobgoblin that the person that is not in this scene has met, yes.
That's a fair point.
Let me show you these guys. For those that have not tuned into the previous streams, that is the captain here. This is going to be the hobgoblin gentleman. He kind of pulls him aside and kind of like they have like kind of a hushed conversation. You basically hear he's basically just grilling him as far as how much rope is available and stuff. It's like, yeah, Hal here can accommodate you. We have probably plenty left over from the rigging, among other things, that is not being used to gird the ship at this point. Should be able to lash it together easily enough.
All right. Yeah. And we might need a few other people to help out. It's quite possible that there might suddenly be a lot of tension on the rope, and we're more than likely going to need a lot of help.
So you need strong hands, in other words.
Yes.
I'm sure that we could assign a contingent of deckhands to assist you. These men do little bit pulling ropes all day long. I'm sure they're up to the task.
All right. So I guess I'll go with them getting the rope and bring it back.
So are you not going to mention the tabaxi?
I mean, I'll briefly mention that they're still trying to get him to come.
Oh, don't worry about Whispering Wind. He'll come when he's ready.
Whispering Wind?
Whispering Wind, yes, this is Tabaxi's name.
What kind of pussy ass name is that?
He has a bowel problem?
It's a tabaxi. It's a very common tabaxi name, actually.
It actually is in the Tabaxi convention.
Yeah. It's going to be so hard not to make fun of that in character.
Well, you don't know that in character, at least not yet.
I know! But eventually I'll know, because Perry will come up and be like, yo, Whispering Wind, blah, 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 blah.
I actually
like
pretty much guarantee that I will be saying, all right, guys, grab Whispering Wind and let's go.
It's going to be a lot
I guarantee that I'm going to say that when I get there.
It's either that or you'll figure out something else.
And you wonder why he doesn't like you.
Actually, no. So when we get back, I'll just be like, all right, if Whispering Wind's not going to help us, then we should just get going. We should get this tunnel searching done quickly, because we want to get out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah. So basically, you guys, long story short, the captain pulls together a contingent of deckhands. You get your rope. Everyone hears Whispering Wind's name because Perry is a loudmouth. So you've got your rope set up at this point. Perry, you have a pulley that you're basically holding in the air. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is a limited amount of play in this pulley, just so you know, because of the way that the ropes are knotted together. You have probably about 100 feet of play from one knot to the next. So, you can get a little bit of leverage that way, but, unless you want to go really slow and just kind of try to pass them all through, that's going to be the setup there. But you do have some crew hands. As this is going on, it looks like you can see that Whispering Wind is actually starting to plate out there, not plate, bowl out, whatever you call that, serve the soup, and he looks like he's starting to basically ferry it over to those that are He's serving those that are still behind first, and then it looks like he's got this like giant tray he's like kind of carrying over to where the others are, as he kind of passes out of sight.
So are we about to send Talia into the tunnel?
Yep.
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would like to suggest that we have a communication system. That is 2 tugs means pull me back.
1 tug means I found something.
Sure.
15 tugs means I need immediate help.
So we're going to expect
Rapid tugging police.
We're going to expect a normal, gradual flow of rope, like someone is moving. 1 tug, it will explain to us why there's been a stop, and 2 will mean we have to pull it back immediately. Is that cool?
Okay.
Okay. Because your life is actually technically important.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that the rope is tied like almost like a not like a bungee jumping harness, but kind of the same thing because she will have like a tail, obviously, but like
So you're basically trying to like loop around the shoulders, loop around the waist, and then kind of tie behind. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
That way we're not. Yeah, that kind of thing. That way we're not, that way it's not just around her waist where if it, like, loosens up at all, it can slip off.
You should just tie it once around her neck with, like, a little slip knot kind of thing, and that'll be fine.
Oh.
No, it's going to be tied like a harness.
Okay.
That way we don't kill her.
Yes. I would say, given the amount of people with nautical backgrounds involved in this, yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
How far out does somebody have to go in the water to get to the tunnel?
Is basically it's about 30 feet downward, and at a slight angle. So it's maybe as you're looking down on the map, it's maybe like 10, 15 feet out from the shore.
Okay, I would like to brandish. Anyway, I want to get a couple feet into the water because I think there's a 50-50 shot something is going to come out of there.
Okay, you may do so.
Let me just.
You can get basically about 5 feet or so into the water is when it starts sloping severely downward. So okay. you can get basically about waist deep before you just get to the point where you're in water that you can't stand in.
Okay, I want to be waist deep.
We have to make sure that we have multiple people. We'll have to make sure that we have multiple people on shore because you're not going to have enough support underneath you to pull back at all. The water, like the sand's going to be too slippery.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, there are a number of people remaining on shore to do just that.
I'm standing 5 feet into the water with Soul Forger 1, and I am just, in case something chases her out of there, we have to fight. All right, you ready to go?
Okay, ready to do this?
Yeah.
So, you're going to have to theater the mind of this a little bit, just because I don't have anything set up map-wise for the tunnel itself. But it's, as I said, it's get out of my game, darn it! How dare you question my decision? But as I said, it's about 20 feet in diameter. It appears, near as you can tell, Talia, to be about 20 feet. To be exactly circular in cross section. Extends quite a long way down before starting to ascend again. It takes you basically about a. Once you get down to the entrance of this thing, it takes you about a minute to get through. No, I would say it takes you, with your swim speed, it takes you more like about 30 seconds to get all the way through. It does eventually ascend, and you actually emerge above the water as this tunnel basically breaches the surface, essentially. Not the surface of the ocean, near as you can tell, but the surface of whatever is down here. But you emerge into another immense chamber, the far side of which you cannot see. 2 things are suggested by the wall behind you. It is nearly, if not perfectly, hemispherical. and is quite clearly artificially carved into the oceanic bedrock. Judging by the curvature of the wall, this chamber is far less immense in scope than the previous one, but still mammoth in proportion. The stone floor beneath your feet is not underwater. It is very slick, seeming to be coated in some sort of foul-smelling slime, likely the source of the putrid scent from earlier. In this chamber, the odor is overpowering and almost palpable. You can taste it as much as smell it. Lining the walls in staggered tiers are interconnected spherical glass pods about 5 feet in diameter, filled with sickly green-tinged fluid that might be fouled water or might be something else entirely. It quickly becomes obvious they're not empty as the hands and faces of people, living people, press themselves up against the glass. In the center of the room is a massive pool of what looks to be the same fluid, its depth unknown due to the murkiness. Rising in the center of this pool is a huge circular bronze altar that reminds you a bit of an open anemone, its 13 horns each impaling a pallid humanoid body, their blood dripping down to stain the water below. And that's what you see.
Shit. Oh, fudge. Deshauna got kicked.
Oh no, you're kidding me. The one person that should be hearing this. Well, okay.
So we all know this now.
You all know this now, and not out of character, of course. And now Deshaun, I'm not sure when exactly he got kicked out. You know what? I'm going to stop the recording until he gets back because there's not much we can do in the interim.
When I go down into the tunnel?
Yeah. So basically, the tunnel went down for a good distance and then started to ascend again, and actually breached the surface of whatever water is down here. So you came out basically on, I don't want to say dry land, but basically slime-covered land is how you entered the chamber.
So I would get out of there if I were you.
How did he hear that? How did he say that? He's not there.
I
Is he
know.
a ghost? Is he dead?
Boo. No, By the way, yes, when I went in, of course, the same as before, far as I could, and then eventually, just as I was diving under, did let the disguise drop. So if Perry was looking, he did probably see.
Okay. Perry doesn't care. He's seen mermaids before. I'm just saying.
Have you seen one tail? You seen them all?
His days of chasing Taylor over with.
Of course, Is there anything around that I can grab to take with me? Let them know to show them a little bit, but then also, of course, to tell them what I found.
Roll me an investigation, please. Oops, that's the wrong screen.
Investigation. I said not my strongest thing, but
Yeah, you don't find anything. Don't find anything small enough to transport and solid. You know, basically there's of course a bunch of this machinery lining the walls, but it's all kind of interconnected. The floor, near as you can tell, is just flat stone that's coated with this slimy type of substance.
oh, let's hope they believe me. I go back under and, of course, go back to the rest of them. I do give the signal to be pulled back just so I'll have help getting back out.
Yeah.
Just in case it's needed.
Okay.
And we'll feel reassured by that, Paul. I will anyway.
So yeah, you basically you pull her back out / you swim back out, no problem, and you can go ahead and relay what you're going to relay.
Of course, I do put the CF disguise back up when I come back on land. Found something under there.
What did you see?
Of course, I tell them everything that I found.
Does this sound familiar to me, by any chance?
Roll me a religion with disadvantage.
It's
Okay.
This does not seem familiar at all. I mean,
way.
based on the description, it seems to be some kind of like religious ritual that's going on in there of some variety, but you have no idea what.
Wait, should I roll religion?
You may roll me a
Just
religion.
in case?
Yeah. You may do
Because
so.
I am a very dark.
You may do so without disadvantage. Just a normal roll. Okay.
I think we should all roll religion.
Yeah. Anyone that is not Inanna will roll it with disadvantage. Because Anonymous is weird and creepy and familiar with this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm giving it a shot too, just to see if I recognized anything down there, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
So yeah, Thorgrim more or less what Perry picked up based on this is it seems like some kind of ritual is going on there, but you're not sure what. Talia, you have no idea.
There's an evil cult and we have to destroy it.
And then
what
let's
did
see.
it-
Inanna.
What?
Let me tell you what Inanna picked up there.
24?
It does seem like based on the description of the altar, you're not sure what the surrounding chamber stuff is about, but based on the description of the altar, you're fairly certain that is again a altar to Kelvar Shanuth. They typically use these things in blood rituals where, as described, basically the corpses are impaled upon the horns and the blood is allowed to flow into the altar and supposedly empower it, basically.
Well, I shall share that information with the rest of the group.
So once I know this information, I'm gonna rush back to the captain and just be like, "We need to move now.
Oh my
We
god.
need to figure out a way to get out of here as soon as possible."
I believe
I
that
thought
is
that's
an
what we're
evil
working
cult
on.
that I need to destroy.
Yes, this does rub you entirely the wrong way, Thorgrim.
See, I would love to find my way down there and begin to worship at said altar and just, whole kumbaya, bowing, all that fun
Are you
stuff.
going to get down there?
I have no idea. It's just a thought.
Well, I believe that there's entry points on the surface unless only subterranean creatures go down there.
There's no way only subterranean creatures go down there. There's no
Well, we
way.
seem to be on a created island for the purpose of capturing ships and sacrificing survivors to Shnush.
That's Baba Ganoush,
So,
thank you very
I
much.
believe, Baba Ganoush, I think the island itself is a trap that creates maelstroms and sucks ships down for the purpose of the sacrifices.
It's possible.
So yeah,
You know what would be really great?
I say we go. We should tell the captain this stuff and see what we can do to get ourselves out of here as soon as possible.
You already left to go tell the captain.
Did I?
I believe you did,
I
yeah.
think that you
Yeah,
said,
that's what you
I'm
said.
going to go tell the
Yeah.
captain.
Okay, yeah. Well, we should definitely tell the captain. What is he
Well,
telling?
you're-
we can't hear you, though. We can't hear you.
You're telling the
No.
captain as we speak, Perry.
Okay, guys. Do you guys want to try and find another
Bye.
entrance? Do you want to
Yeah.
try?
I probably missed a little bit of what you guys were talking about, but basically, last I checked, Perry was going back to tell the captain, try to basically find a way out of there. And you guys
Yes.
seem to be looking for another entrance into this chamber?
Yeah.
Yes, the idea goes like this. We're going to see if Talia can imagine what the line is, the line that it would be going if we walk in toward land, and see if we can find something along that line that could be an entrance.
Okay, Talia. Trying to think of what kind of role this would be for you. Let me pull your sheet up real quick.
All right.
So we have. Roll me a survival, please. That seems like the best.
Yeah, it seems like something that would involve survival with.
Okay. So you're able to pretty
Yeah,
accurately
that's
relate.
why I wanna go.
It does seem like the chamber that you were in was based on how far you went down, how far you came back up. It seems like it's a significant amount lower than the larger chamber. It seems like it's maybe about, say, 40 or 50 feet down from the water level of the large chamber to the water level of the smaller chamber. And probably somewhere that's actually beyond the actual walls of the large chamber. So in other words, you've gone a horizontal distance beyond the map that you guys are currently on, essentially.
Right.
And nothing has been present on the surface. It could be an entrance.
Not that you guys have seen, no.
Okay.
And you guys actually have been doing a decent amount of exploring in that area, assuming that, the entrance is in the direction that chamber would be. You guys, lots of people have been moving past there because that's actually where people have been being moved to the safety of behind the machine.
Does my explorer's pack involve a shovel?
Sorry, what was the question about the Explorer's Pack?
Or does it involve a digging shovel?
Let me pull that up real quick.
I just think it's so funny that Perry thought he was bringing everyone to safety, and really he's bringing everyone to his death.
Backpack, bedroll, mess kit, tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of raskins, a water skin, 50 feet of hempen rope. No, it does not come with a shovel, unfortunately. It should be pretty easy to scavenge something of the sort, though, from the... may not be a shovel exactly, but, something that could be used as a shovel from the wreckage.
So, probably we should figure out what's going to happen with me and the captain.
Yeah.
I think you end up happily ever after.
Shut up.
You and your boyfriend.
All right, people who aren't in the scene.
Not- And neither is Perry.
Perry, what news? He's still bellowing to be
We
heard
need
over
to
the
move
noise of this
now.
thing. What's that?
When the captain asks me what news, I say, we need to get out of here now.
That's what we've been trying to do. Any suggestions?
I mean, if we could get a lot of people who can, if we had enough people who can fly, we might be able to get out of here. At least get some people above get the majority of people above the maelstrom itself.
He
But-
he looks at you like the only person on the entire ship with wings and feathers. Then he looks at the mostly human crewmen, passengers. Looks back at you. Looks back at them. Any suggestions on helping these people to fly?
I honestly don't know, but literally beyond this wall is some monster or some sacrifice that basically we were all meant to die in here and be sacrificed to whatever is beyond that wall.
Quite troublesome news indeed. But
Inana's gonna start.
I do not think it changes our priority here, which is to get people out of this predicament as quickly as possible. And to do that would involve, I think, probably more of an organized, methodical approach. I mean, you yourself could probably get clear of here fairly easily, but that says nothing for the hundreds that cannot.
The only option that I can think of is to go back up that tunnel that we just came through.
Or he could save himself.
Or those people that aren't in the scene could be quiet for the moment.
Dude.
as far if I were to take a guess, I would say that the pumps that we're right next to, it's a possibility that they go two directions. One, to filter out the water to take it back up to the surface, but also to take people, well, into those things.
Interesting hypothesis, lad. I'm not sure that there's a safe way to put the proof to it one way or the other.
There isn't.
Then what would
As
you
far
suggest?
as I'm aware, the only option is to fly up through the maelstrom, and the only possible way that I can think of is to basically burn the ship and create a hot air balloon.
There's several problems with this hypothesis. Number one, that most of the ship is in no condition to burn anytime soon. While the tar may light up easily enough, the wood is more or less waterlogged. The other thing is, where are you going to harvest enough material to make this balloon of yours? The sails are in tatters. Those are the largest pieces of cloth by far that we have on hand.
Then we're just gonna have to die.
That appears a bit fatalistic, my boy. There has to be a way out of this.
Has any more of the deaths from those worms happened by chance?
None that I have observed, but to put it to a guess, there has been very little in the way of privacy, and I'm certain that perhaps this is causing these worms to be cautious in their movements, lest they be seen and exposed. My best guess, mind you.
Well, we haven't seen any Sahagin since we came down here. It's quite possible that the worms may be disconnected and they're trying to figure out their own way to come through. It might be time to tell the rest, to tell them that we know about them, and that if they can help us, then maybe we can help each other out. I don't know.
How do you propose we do that?
The only possible option.
How do you propose we do that? We do not know who, if anyone, is inhabited by these creatures. If they are still inhabiting people, perhaps they gave us the slip during the crash. We don't know.
The little girl. I know it's an awful thought to think, but there's still the possibility that she could have one of those worms within her. She was the only one that we know of the position when a worm came out, and that worm came out close to her.
This is quite fair. If you wish to question the girl, then I will not stop you.
I hate the thought that could be our only option, though. That she is the one that we would have to use in order to get out of here. The mother has gone through way too much strife as it is. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
To do what precisely? Are you suggesting that we harm the girl?
To even tell the mother that what killed her husband is within her little girl would be devastating.
Well, it seems to me if what you wish is to open a parley with the creatures themselves, that you would not necessarily need to involve the mother, other than to ask her permission to have a private chat with her daughter.
It is possible. I would prefer for you to be there as well, Captain. As you are in this situation, you do outrank me.
Very well. I shall see to it. He will start... let me see at this point where they are. Let's do this. Electro Ninja, high or low in your favor?
Hi.
Ooh, by 2 points. He actually leads you a short distance away. They are among the folks that have been moved at this point to the very loud junction where you found him. So he basically leads you there. At this point, let's cut back to the folks that are behind at the ship.
So I wanted to go back to the ship and see if I could get a shovel.
Roll me a investigation check, please.
Just a moment. There we go.
You do not find a shovel. However, you find basically a sturdy-looking oar that probably would suffice if you're not, trying to like chip through like dense dirt or rock or anything like that.
So sand.
Yeah, sand should be okay as long as it's not super densely packed.
Okay, if I get down to rock, I will use one of my other weapons.
So where are you digging?
We had tried to identify a line that would correspond to where she was when Talia was in the cavern.
So you're basically going to try to
where
dig...
an entrance should be.
Okay. Dig down there and
I'm
see
trying
if
to go
there's
through
something...
the roof, yeah.
Okay. So you start digging. This will actually take you a while to get there and, get a hold of any decent size dug. So while that is happening, Inanna and Talia, are you doing anything?
Well, I just have a question. So, if Durgan has this, like, super mighty hammer, blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
why doesn't he just try to bust a hole through the stone wall?
By the way, you're really distorting again. That would be something to address with him when he's present, which he is not. Unless you're, like, stopping him on the way out.
No.
I went back to where they are, didn't I?
Yeah, but it's going to take you a minute to find the ore.
Okay. And the stone wall you referred to...
Go ahead.
The stone wall you referred to was either described in the last session or while my sound was out, because I have no memory of a stone wall.
Yeah, so basically there is a sandy surface around this shore here that extends up to basically what looks like a stone cave wall. It's kind of smooth, like it was like a water-carved cavern. So while there's a layer of sand here, you're not sure how deep, and you're not sure if it even connects to anything other than rock beneath.
Okay. I'm sure I missed that data. I was looking for geographical information when we started, and I missed that entirely. I feel foolish.
Well, I mean, you could still attempt.
Okay.
Because you don't know, based on what you've observed, what lies beneath the surface of the sand.
Right.
While Corbin is gone, I shall silently pray to the god of chaos.
For Winfrey?
No, whatever it is, Bow Survivor.
Kamala Harris?
You're praying you're praying to your particular elder god, is what you're getting at? Okay, so you offer your prayers to the hungering. I forget which. I should look at my notes on that stuff. So I spent all this time world building and it hasn't really come up much. The wanting, that's the one I'm looking for. So you offer up your prayers, which are raising quite a few eyebrows if you're near anybody. I don't know if you snuck away to do this. Did
no
you?
Need.
So you're just doing this kind of out in the front of whoever's around.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It seems like the looks you're getting are kind of more like what the heck is she doing versus she's, engaging in rituals to a dark god. So it doesn't seem like anybody particularly recognizes it. Talia, were you doing anything during this time period?
Just more or less playing my own music.
Okay, you can definitely do that. Actually, why don't you roll me a performance check?
There we go.
Yeah, you actually you seem to be drawing a small crowd. Seems like these folks are, a bit desperate and a bit starved for entertainment, but seems like they're appreciating what you're doing. Get back to my main thing here. And so meanwhile, we're going to go over to... let's go over to Thorgrim, because that's kind of fresh in my brain here. So I need you to roll me a... What do we call this? Roll me an athletics check, please, Thorgrim. Oh, so you easily dig down through the sand. It's fairly loose, like essentially the sand that you would find on an above-ground beach. You dig down, eventually you get down about maybe 5 to 8 feet. You're pretty much hitting solid rock. It appears to be curving down from the wall and just kind of forming a solid floor underneath your feet. You have not found anything resembling an opening at this point. Meanwhile, let's go to Perry. So you and the captain approach Agatha, the little girl, and I should pull up pictures for these guys. But while this is loading, so basically there's this halfling mother and girl who, of course, halflings being halflings, they're both very small, but the girl is just tiny by comparison to any, human-sized creature. So this is the mother here. Quite a bit more disheveled at this point. My braids kind of come loose, and clothes are still a bit wet. Likewise with the daughter. She does look. They both look like they've calmed down somewhat. They're not happy, great. Everything's cool, but they've kind of settled into the situation. It seems.
So I guess I say, pardon me, madam. Could we speak to your daughter for a moment?
What is this about? Good. She knows your name, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you introduced yourself.
There's a situation going on, and we believe your daughter may be able to give some insight, but we don't want to worry you more than you already are.
Did you just pull the I don't want to spread panic and alarm? Okay, roll me a oh, that's the wrong sheet. Roll me a persuasion with disadvantage.
Yeah, I probably could have worded that better.
You could have worded that a lot better.
Oh, Frel, that was a hard thing to really say what I wanted to say.
Okay, and we're gonna roll a... Well, fortunately, she rolled worse than you did. So, of course, I mean, if Agatha can be of any help, I'm not sure how, but by all means, just please be careful with her.
Of course.
She kind of, ushers her daughter forward. It'll be all right, sweetie, kind of, brushes the top of her head. Just go with the nice man and help him out. Answer what he wants to know. And she kind of just, nods. She's still clutching her doll. Her doll is, just drenched at this point, but still clutching onto it, and just kind of follows with you.
All right. Captain is taking the lead on this. I'm after that roll. I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Well, the captain at this point is kind of looking to you, since this has kind of been your idea.
Oh shit. Oh. So once we're a decent away, I look at the girl and say, "Did the worm actually go in you?"
Roll me a persuasion, please. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay.
Please let the captain say something, because that was bad.
The worm went away like I told you before. The captain at this point is just kind of looking between the two of you, not like... It's like he's not quite sure what to say. Like he's never interrogated a small child before.
I wish that these things actually were magical and I could see them. You know, I've actually never opened my detect eye in front of her, though, now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm not sure that you have.
So I'm actually going to do my detect magic then.
Okay. Let me roll something for her. For sheet will overload. I imagine with
Just
that
saying,
roll.
if Harry wanted to interrogate a small child, he should have brought Inanna with him, because Inanna doesn't care about interrogating small children.
So you see, as you're doing this, by the way, she looks up and kind of like squints her eyes at you a little bit. Your eye is funny. And you don't detect anything. Actually, hang on. Let me take a look at her. Oh, your sheet's not open yet. Come on, Agatha. I think if she has anything that's actually magical on her. She herself doesn't glow for sure. I'm pretty sure she doesn't have anything. Yeah, no, she's not radiating anything magical.
All right. So I'm gonna kneel down and say, you see, my eye has a lot of magical abilities, including allowing me to see anything that I want. So you can either tell us the truth, or I can make sure that the worm isn't within you.
This is somewhere between a bluff and an intimidation. I'm going to call it intimidation, just based on the way you're phrasing it.
Creepy Uncle Perry, everyone.
Oh, fuck.
She giggles. You're funny. Can your eye turn Fluffles into a corn cob? She kind of holds up the doll.
No, it aids my vision. It doesn't do magic.
Ooh, can it make me fly?
I can make you fly. But I will only help you fly if you tell us exactly what happened to the worm after it left your father.
Told you already.
Where did it actually go? I don't believe you.
Roll me another persuasion, please. Just straight this time.
That's better.
She cracks a slight smile, looks up at you. You're too late, you know. Ishil Kwalandu has you right where he wants you.
Let her go. Let the girl go.
Are you offering yourself in exchange? I will take that offer if you wish to extend it.
How about we make a deal? How many of you are there?
How about I don't give out information for free? Suffice to say, you're doomed. You're all doomed. But don't worry, you will be part of the new era. Your names will be remembered in the dawning age. Why should I let this one go? She entertains me. Besides, I'm not sure you'd like it if I did.
You're a monster.
I've been called worse.
Ah, fudge, this is not gonna be fun. Not for her. Because she just it just pissed me off.
What are you doing?
I kind of want to send my rat into her mouth to try and have it pull it out of her.
If that's what you're going to be attempting, that's going to be an initiative roll.
No matter what it is, it's going to probably be initiative because I am not letting this monster get away. I'm going to try my best to get it out of her.
All right. Then let me zoom in on my map so I can see what characters are which. First of all,
I know I'm not here, but I want to make Electro Ninja aware of a possibility.
What?
The creature offered to exchange your life for the child's. You may have at least one person in your anti-party who would take that deal.
That is a good point.
Got at least one lawful good person and at least one evil lunatic that might take you up on it. And you should be aware of those possibilities by yourself while you consider your options.
You know what? Actually, maybe you are right. Maybe I should. I don't think I would offer myself because he's selfish, but he's not. I can think of a lot of other good options.
Thank you.
Than myself. I'm not really one for obeying people. So I would suggest I have a few other suggestions.
It entertains me to entertain your suggestions, but know that it will not help your cause.
You have to make this challenging, don't you, DM?
That's the idea.
Okay, Frel. Frel, this is gonna be challenging.
It's not.
So what are you doing?
Oh, I just got one. How about we trade these people for someone else? There's another crew coming that are on our tails. You can have them if you let all of us go.
Perhaps we shall wait until they arrive. And then I can see if you really are telling me the truth or if you're just trying to save yourselves from the inevitable.
As far as I'm aware, I am telling the truth. Frel.
Again, we do not get where we are for giving something for nothing. Now, if we're done here, I should return to my mother.
No.
Oh?
I'm not. I will let you go into me if you will spare the girl.
Well, now what do you mean by spare the girl?
Find a way to bring her back to the safety of land and make sure that she survives with no harm to ever befall her.
Well, I'm afraid that's quite impossible.
And why is that?
Well, you see, this girl, she kind of gestures down to herself. She's already died, you see. She would not be moving around and speaking to you if it were not for me.
You just said the wrong thing, dude. As I draw my sword and cut her head off.
Okay, now you need to roll me initiative. I already rolled for everybody else there.
Where's my
Oh, I need to give you a token, sorry. I think you could actually do that as well. I'm not sure.
I think I can.
Put you. Oh,
There I
yep,
am.
you did. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this duplicate then.
Okay. And initiative.
Oh, shoot. Did I
Please.
leave that up from
Yep.
last time around? Alright, well, let's get rid of that. And, let's see. So you rolled. Which one of these is actually you? That's the 16. Okay. Alright, so... Alright, so Perry, it is, you do get to act first.
Alright. I pull my scimitar and I cut her head off.
You pull your scimitar and you attack her. There is a difference. So you swing your scimitar like right at her neck. She just kind of like stares at you, and then just like the last moment, just like ducks, and your scimitar passes over her head.
And I just say, you said the wrong thing. You've lost your chance to live.
All right, Captain Farley, what are you gonna do? Captain Farley is basically gonna try to stop. What are you doing? And he tries to restrain you, basically. Let me pull up his sheet and have him make a athletics. Or you could just not open up on me. That's okay.
Thank you.
I know basically what his stats are, so I'm just going to roll him. Actually, I'll roll him a straight d20 because I don't think he has So, Perry, go ahead and roll me a athletics or acrobatics, whichever is better. Yeah, it does not even come close to restraining you. Like, tries to go for your neck and like, you know, around your waist, and at that point you're already like 3 feet away. So he's just hugging air. Yeah, that's what she's gonna try to do. So how do we do this? That is a second level. Okay.
Oh, I got a devious idea. I should not do this, but it would be hilarious if I could do this.
So I need you to make, whoops, I shouldn't have linked that. I need you to make me a I believe it's a wisdom save. Yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save? Okay.
Okay. She basically just kind of looks at you pointedly and says, "You should go see the master through the tunnel down below. You find yourself strangely compelled to do so. You are under the effects of a suggestion spell." So, at this point, combat is over because you're basically compelled to do that to the expulsion of all else. I will offer basically everybody else in the party a perception check to notice something amiss with Perry. Can't believe that worked. Damn. That spell never works.
But that spell never works.
That spell never works, he says, as it works.
Inanna, you do notice as you are doing your prayers to your dark deity, Perry basically looks like he's heading past you, like just like blank faced, like looks like he's just basically walking toward the water and ignoring everything else.
Okay.
Why is he walking?
I am
No.
going to.
Yeah, I guess he would be
I
flying
guess-
toward the water. Yes.
Running or flying or walking? What are we doing?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand
flying,
that.
Apparently.
You're flying, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna try to basically get it done the most efficient way possible. That's kind of how the spell works.
Well, I guess I'm gonna die.
How far off the ground is he flying?
Not far. He's
I'm
maybe.
going 50 feet.
Would you?
If I'm going at my if I'm doing it as efficiently as possible, then yeah, I'd probably be going at 50 feet.
Well, efficiently as possible would be staying close to ground level so you can get into the water quickly.
Yeah.
While it's not reflected in 5th edition rules, it does take you time to fly up and down.
Yeah, I'm not saying
So-
50 feet above the ground. I'm saying 50 feet.
Oh, okay. No, the question was how far off the ground are you? And I would say probably maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, could I use acrobatics to try and grab him?
High or low in your favor?
Low.
Unfortunately, you are too far away to really try to, get up to him at the speed that he's moving.
Let me see. Let me see what I can do.
Let me look at your sheet. You actually might have something for this, if I'm remembering correctly.
Counter charm. I can use counter charm. I get at 6th level. You gain the ability to use musical notes or words of power to
Let me look at this. This
mind
is,
influencing the play.
you may attempt that, yes.
Okay.
You gonna do that?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Nope.
Okay, so gain the ability to use musical notes. Okay. So are you playing your violin for this? Just for flavor?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, pretty much all of you here, Nana, begin to play her violin, like facing off somewhere that she hasn't been facing before, yeah, unfortunately, Perry, it does not work because this is not a charm effect, and it only grants advantage on saving throws, which you've already failed. It was a good thought. I mean, it was the same thought I had, and that's why I was looking carefully at the wording of it.
Well, it says to disrupt mind influencing effects.
Yeah, but you have to
Right?
you have to read the fine print. So, but yeah, no, that was a good try. Unfortunately, it's not working.
Since we noticed her playing the violin, I guess I'm guessing we noticed where Perry heading to the water.
Make me a perception with advantage. Anyone who wants to. That's not an on or parry.
Perception.
Yeah, Talia, you definitely see that Perry is heading like the proverbial parrot out of hell toward the water. And yeah, both of you notice this. Although Thorgwyn, you're probably still pretty far away since you were kind of at the wall of the chamber.
The only other thing I can think of is to try and use my own suggestion on him to try and get him to snap out of it, but I don't think that would work.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to try that.
Okay, so go ahead and make me another wisdom save, Perry.
Please let me fail this.
How often do you hear that? Wow. You do fail this. So let me look at the...
Oh, sorry, I didn't do that.
That would be fantastic to get into the mix, by the way. Make me completely confused over what spell effects are going to take effect on him. So what specifically are you suggesting, Talia, with this?
Perry, stop. Don't go into the water.
Okay.
Now for a battle of the frickin' mages.
Okay. Choose the course of action you describe to the best of its ability. So the course of action can continue.
I'm trying to like read some of these, but I can't.
All right, so Perry, you suddenly realize that yeah, you shouldn't go in the water, but you still want to find that tunnel and get to the master. So you're kind of basically just kind of stalled out at the edge of the water at this point.
Too bad it's only once a day I could use that, but hey.
Yeah, you're. By the way, Electri. So at this point, I'm gonna hand control of your character off over to you. Just recognize that is your motivation: is you want to get into that tunnel and get to the master, whoever that is, but you can't because the water's there.
Okay.
How long does suggestion last anyway?
It's concentration up to 8 hours. Speaking of which, I should roll something.
Well, I mean, if she were to... I'm just saying, if she were to tell me that there's another tunnel, I would probably go towards it. I'm just saying.
Well, she doesn't know what you've been suggested to do in the first place. Bear that in mind. She just saw you flying toward the water.
And then stop.
Mm-hmm.
I just got an idea of what he might try to get to the tunnel. He might start digging down into the tunnel.
That's fair. You currently don't have anything to dig with.
I think he would just start using his claws, honestly.
Okay. So that's exactly what you see. Basically, Perry gets down kind of on his hands and knees and starts clawing at the sand.
Got a way to get him out of this.
Can I just be like, must obey Agatha?
That's an interesting question. I'm going to guess based on the description of other charm type spells that you do know who it was that made the suggestion. So yeah, you can do that. You say must obey Agatha.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say must obey Agatha. And hopefully you guys realize that. And we'll attack her.
Can I use hideous laughter to incapacitate him?
Incapacitate Perry?
Yes.
You may certainly try.
Do you want me to put up the script of it?
If you could, yes. So we are looking at so Perry. I need you to make me another wisdom saving throw.
Hold on.
Okay, here we go.
All right, unfortunately, you make this one. Or fortunately, I don't know. Yeah, so you notice that Inanna seems to be trying to hinder your progress toward your goal by
Does that
casting
mean that I
spells
have
on
to
you.
attack her?
You don't have to.
I'll leave that up to your judgment as a player.
This is hard to say because I don't want my character to die, but at the same time, he wants to die.
He doesn't want to die. He just wants to go and meet the master.
Yeah. I think he's gonna pull out his pistol and fire a warning shot.
At Inanna?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to go ahead and don't worry. I'm only doing this for the sake of seeing if you roll a 1. Roll me an attack roll. Okay, yeah, you fire a warning shot. People around you just like jump. There's a few shrieks because this is loud. And yeah, Inanna, you kind of like almost feel like a bullet like pass like close to your head.
And then I keep digging.
He mentioned Agatha. That means that we were right. He was right.
Must obey, Agatha.
There's only one thing we can do then. We either have to we might have to talk with her, but I have no idea how well that'll go.
Okay, well, we know that down at the bottom is stone anyways, so he's gonna have a really hard time getting through that stone. So I think we've got a good minute before something happens.
Plus, he's digging with essentially his bare hands. You know how long that takes to dig through sand that way?
Yeah, alright, guys, let's go find Agatha and leave
I'm
it.
specifically doing this because I don't want to die.
I have a feeling. By the way, I have a feeling that does Thorgrin know all this is happening as well?
Thorgrin did notice this, although he's still a ways away. Thorgrin, I'll leave it up to you whether you've been closing the distance at this point.
I'm just waiting patiently for my next turn.
Well, we're not in combat rounds, so basically whatever you're wanting to do, go ahead and do that.
I want to hit the stone with Soul Forger 2.
Okay. You may definitely do that. Okay. Yeah, you, let's see, that's going to be... Yeah, you put a crack into this rock. It doesn't appear to be anything that's going through to anything, but you definitely put a surface crack in it. Kind of a spider webby kind of thing.
I'm going to continue doing that as long as I can.
All right, so you hear... Actually, you guys probably don't hear this because there's so much extra background noise going on by the time it gets over to where you are, but yeah, you're definitely making a lot of noise doing this. The whole, again, seems like there's a lot of cracks forming. It doesn't seem like you're really getting very far into this rock, but you can continue doing so.
Also, I've started to use my iron pot to start digging.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking over at Inanna. Inanna, if you can, go talk with the girl. I'll get Thorgrin. Maybe he can help too.
Sounds good. And Inanna's gonna head off towards the ship, like where Perry last came from, to try and find the little girl.
Okay, so you head actually over toward where this large machine is, which is the direction he was coming from. Roll me a investigation check.
Oh, no, okay.
You find her easily enough, actually. It looks like she's just kind of standing out in the open, just kind of looking curiously in the direction of what's happening.
What is the captain doing in all of this?
You are not in the near vicinity. But the captain basically looks like he's essentially trying to pull the girl back toward her mother. And Anna, you see this.
Captain, stop. I'd like to have a word with this one.
You're not the first. Your friend flew off after having had words with her. I'm not positive what that was about.
He had something to take care of, but I'm here to finish his questions.
Fair enough. The girl kind of looks at you curiously.
Great.
What's up, little thing? You got an idea what happened to my friend over there?
Your friend? You mean the birdie?
Yeah, that thing.
I think he really wants to go for a swim. Kind of noticed the faint hint of a smile on her lips.
That's so interesting because I remember it. Birds aren't that great of a swimmer, but you wouldn't really happen to know where he got this idea from, would you?
Roll me a persuasion, please. Good grief. That's right, you're really good at persuasion. Well, I might have planted a bit of a seed in him. You notice that her speech pattern has changed at this point. She's just kind of looking at you unafraid, kind of crossing her arms. So, I imagine that's what you're here to talk with me about.
Not particularly. Of course, it'd be handy if he would stop digging through the ground.
Yes, it is inefficient.
Perhaps we can make a deal.
You all want to deal when you have nothing to offer. But very well, I will hear your deal. We have nothing but time after all.
If you remove the suggestion from the bird, then...
Then what?
Sorry, guys, my earbuds died.
Oh, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just had to... I'm going to have to charge them. But I can hear you guys through my phone.
Okay. Then what exactly?
If you allow my friend to be released from this suggestion, then I could perhaps allow you to re-inhabit somebody who would be more useful to you.
And who are you going to offer? The bird seemed undesirous to be host to me.
I'd offer myself, of course. Who better to serve the Dark Lord than someone who worships the darkness herself?
Aspects of the same chaos, I grant you that. Roll me a persuasion with advantage. Oh, good grief. I'm not sure why I'm even rolling for her. Because even if she rolled a 20, it would not beat that because your modifier is so insane. Okay. That is not a super...
It would be insane, though, if she had gotten a natural 1.
She might have. I rolled the actual check off screen. This is just for the crit here. Very well. I'll accept your offer. Just bear in mind, actually. Yeah, with that persuasion roll, she's going to say this. Bear in mind, the girl will not survive that. The girl has not survived this. So if it is her you wish to save, then you are too late.
I could not give 2 gold coins about a singular life.
You will be useful to the master. Very well. And at this point, she kind of beckons you, like, behind some, like, lean-to shacks, etc., like, trying to get out of sight, essentially, is the impression that you're getting.
Okay. Alright, I will follow her.
Okay. Once you are basically out of line of sight, this thing basically crawls out of her mouth and nose and just, like, leaves this, like, body, much like the other ones that you guys found, basically just kind of, like, bleeding out the mouth and nose and just, like, completely dead. Are you going to resist?
No.
Okay.
I made a promise.
Okay. Well, that basically it crawls into you. I'm not going to get too descriptive because we described it before. But yeah, it is inhabiting you. It can speak to you telepathically. Of course, we should not tell the others what has transpired here, lest they grow suspicious and turn on you, turn on us.
Well, I won't if you won't.
Oh, believe me, it is far better for me that we both survive this. Now, shall we? I believe we have an appointment to keep.
We shall.
All right,
So
Perry,
I'm
you
free, right?
you suddenly pop free of your influence. Well, I should say you pop free of your desire to get into that tunnel and meet with the master. You're still afraid of the water, unless you're letting that drop at that point.
So, in that
yeah.
case, I'm going to turn to, I'm going to look to see where, frickin' Talia went. Yeah. And I'm going to run, and I'm going to fly to her.
Okay, you may do so. I'm assuming, Talia, you haven't made yourself scarce at this point.
No, I was heading towards Thorgrin to get him to help, but while Inanna talked with the girl, so. But I haven't really made myself scarce. I was probably getting ready to head over there while also trying to keep an eye on.
So you see
areas.
Talia a short distance away, kind of walking toward, basically walking toward the wall of this giant chamber.
Yeah.
Talia, we need to get out of here now.
So you're not thinking anymore. Good.
No. I'm free from her, which can only mean one thing. Someone convinced her, or she's dead. Either way, we don't have time. We need to get out of here. There's no way we're saving everyone.
Understandable. Well, if we're going to do that, I better do this. And yes, I do release the suggestion I placed on him.
Okay. So you are now entirely free of mental influence, Perry.
Okay, good. So in that case, I'm gonna go look for Aaron, and basically, I'm telling Talia, go get Thorgrin, get him ready to leave. I'll go get Aaron, and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
What about Inanna?
Sorry, go on.
I was just like, I looked over at Perry. What about Inanna? She went to talk to her.
Do you honestly think that she's okay? Do you think
Good
she's
point.
one of them now?
Good point.
Actually, I should probably roll intelligence for if I would think this.
You really should.
Yeah. I think that either way, I don't care about her as much as the others. I may hate Thorgrin, but I know for a fact that he's not one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I see how it is.
I would say with that roll, you suspect that she's just off the girl. She just did away with it and just chopped her head off like you were trying to.
Wait a minute, let me try. Should I try that as well? The intelligence.
Sure.
I mean, since I did suggest for her to go talk to her, so
yeah, same thing. I mean, it just seems like the logical solution to this. The girl is causing problems. Inanna's shown herself to be a very amoral person. Probably would not have any problem getting rid of that problem.
Okay, so we both think that she just killed her. All right. Well,
best guess.
I still say that we get out of here as soon as possible, and she's going to be a problem to get out of here. She's going to be harder to get out of here than Aaron or Talia. Apparently, Bento. No.
What a dick.
Thorgrin, you do kind of realize that there were basically two. I'm assuming at this point a little bit of time has passed. I'm going to say just so people have kind of congregated.
So, what does Thorgrin realize?
Thorgrin realizes that basically, based on the fact that she's been released from this, or that you've been released from this enchantment, that there are two possible things that happen. One is that the creature was destroyed, or at least injured enough to disrupt its focus on this ability, or that some sort of deal was made with it.
Mm. Okay. So, yeah, we need to get out of here. I don't know if... I have a feeling that that she probably would be fine to die here. Just saying.
Inanna is selfish. she cares about her life more than anybody else. Nobody else is.
The one who we all know was willing to have the freaking thing get into you.
First of all, you don't know
okay,
this.
that was not a willing situation the first time. I'm just saying.
Yeah. First of all, there was some dealing that happened with this creature that was entirely telepathic, and as far as I know, she has not disclosed anything in character about. So no, you do not know that.
I know, but it's just, I don't know. But we need to get out of here. So we should, if we can grab Inanna, then we should, but I have another feeling that the captain might also be one of them.
Hard to say. I mean, with the cavern I found, I don't even know if it goes to the surface or if it can go to the surface. And if it does, I have no idea how far it can go before that.
There's a ship there's supposed to be a ship not too far from us. I don't know exactly. They're good men and they know how to avoid maelstroms.
This one seems like it was made to follow. Remember, the ship we were on was trying to avoid it too, and it didn't seem like it was going to.
And this ship, for those of you that have some experience with the water, which is many of you, this thing formed unnaturally quickly underneath you, essentially. There were no warning signs. It just happened.
Okay. So, yeah. They shouldn't be too far off, but we can, if we get to them before they get here, then we can escape.
We'll have
It's
to
just
try.
going to be a hard climb to get out of the maelstrom. I can carry 2 people at maximum. And personally, I think one of them should be Aaron.
Suggestion.
Hmm?
So, let's get a really long piece of rope and give that to Perry and have him attach that to the very top and the people climb it.
We can start with that, but I'm not promising much.
Oh, it's just, I mean, if it works, it goes faster.
we're not going to be able to get very many people out because we need to do this now. Because if anyone stays in the water for more than a few minutes, they're probably going to be dead. Just
I'm
saying.
not disagreeing with you.
And on at this point, you hear this voice in your head. There must be a way to turn this machine off, mustn't there?
Ah,
That's not good. That's really not good. I know we don't hear that, but that is really not good.
So, Perry, you want to take the first person out?
well, point me in the right direction.
I can take Aaron and Talia out, and we'll.
Did you find Aaron?
As well.
You shouldn't
And if
know
we can
such
get to a
things, of
ship,
course, Anana.
we'll-
You shouldn't know such things, but perhaps, since nothing can be found out here, perhaps something through that tunnel controls the machine.
Are you going to be drowning?
You can make it. You have friends that are strong swimmers.
So I'll go over to the group.
Sorry, you're going over to where now?
The group, the anti-party.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'll just go to Talia and say, "Hey, Talia, I really wanted to get a better look at that tunnel. And that way I can kind of see exactly what was going on there, since I have the I have knowledge of the what's the word I'm looking for? Of dark sorry. Of dark gods.
Insight check.
If you want to put yourself against her deception modifier, go right ahead and roll that, Inanna.
Yeah.
Did she roll deception already?
No, she did not.
No, I didn't. But he already rolled insight, so I kind of have to.
She sounds like she's legit.
Oh,
You-
fudge me.
You know she's
I'm
got...
trying
There's
to.
no way you're getting past that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually is taller.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Since we're all together, I want to say don't go. It's a trick. We all need to go now.
Well, that would require persuasion, since I have already
Yeah.
persuaded them.
Perry and Talia, you actually think this is probably a pretty good idea, since if anybody's going to be able to make heads or tails of it, it's Inanna.
Maybe I can figure out a way to.
I'm gonna suggest. How about we send her in alone?
Yes.
Won't be able to get through alone. I need a strong me. But once I get through, she's more than welcome to return up
I'm
here.
not going down there, so yeah. So I think that I'm at this point. I probably would go and get Aaron, and then we're gonna and start to get out.
Okay. You find Arin. Basically, she's essentially helping people to get the camp moved, and it's all that good stuff. So, what are you going to try to do?
I'm going to tell her the plan. Basically, we're going to try and fly out of here, and then if we can, we're going to escape to our ship.
I don't want to play his character too much. All right, she just kind of like nods and says, "Yes, sir."
All right. So, yeah, guess I put her under my arm. Well, when we get over to the edge, I'm going to say,
All right. One
Talia, you
moment.
coming?
Let's pull you up and see if those details are in there. No, they're not. You're a Triton. You're fairly dense person since you're aquatic. What is your strength, Perry?
14.
14. Yeah, you're not able to fly with RN by herself, let alone with another person. She's too heavy to carry.
Ah, shit. So what I'm kind of thinking then is that basically we lock arms. I am flying, she's swimming, and then she swims up while I'm flying up.
You were asking her to swim up through essentially what is a waterfall?
Shit. Yeah, basically, which I'm realizing now. Yeah, that's gonna fail.
I mean, you can attempt.
We can. Shit.
Also, bear in mind what happened when you tried to fly and there was a large amount of moving water involved.
If I can get into the eye of the pillar, then I can fly out. On my own. Honestly, but I could probably do it on my own. But
Yeah, getting
You
you
know
out
what?
is going to be less of an issue than getting anybody else out.
okay, so what I'm gonna do then is I'm going to grab a rope, a really, really freaking long rope, as
Okay.
long as I can get. Probably the one that we used before, but add more onto it probably, if I can. And I'm going to tie one end to her, one end to me, and then I'm gonna fly up.
Okay, how are you attempting to do this? In other words, are you trying to fly
basically
through the
the
waterfall?
arms.
Are you trying to swim up from underneath and then fly?
So I think probably the best option is to have Aaron swim me into the eye of the waterfalls,
Okay.
and then I fly up. I think would probably be the best option.
All right, so let's roll. I'm going to say since she's trying to... well, you know what? First, before I roll for her, I'm going to have you roll me an athletics check with disadvantage, as you're, I'm assuming, trying to assist her while she's swimming you. And then that will affect whether her check has... yeah, no, this is all her. So she's going to roll with... yeah, she's going to roll with disadvantage at this point, I think. Trying to get both of you in there. Oof.
Oh shit!
That's pretty severe too. So basically, as you guys, you make good speed out, through the waves. She's kind of keeping your head above water most of the time. You get to this essentially wall of water that's falling down, and suddenly there is this just suction that pulls you under about 60 feet or so. You're basically kind of like knocked way out and down. Eventually you do manage to make your way to the surface, but you've at this point been pushed out about 60 feet from where you were, out toward the edge of the cavern.
Fudge. I kind of want to say let's try it again. It would be helpful if we had Talia to help out with this as well.
Well, did I see it happening, by the way?
You'd see it happening, yeah. I mean, at least you'd see the preparation happening.
Yeah, I'll go over and give him a hand. I'll just be like, in a moment, no.
Alright.
Hey.
So the three of us tie together, and then boom, try to get through into the eye.
Okay, so let's start this first. You first, Perry. Roll me, again, an athletics with disadvantage. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to have basically both Aaron and Talia roll. Actually, I'm guessing your athletics is less than 7, right, Talia?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna treat this as an advantage roll for Arin because you're both kind of assisting each other. Good thing for advantage. Wow. So you managed to at length to make your way into the eye of the storm. You look up and you can see, sky above you, although it's a long way above you and a lot of water in between.
All right. Frau. So I guess I'm as long as we're all tied together, I'm gonna start flying up there as
Okay.
much as I can.
Roll me an athletics with disadvantage, please.
Please be a good roll. Please be a good roll.
Sorry for all the disadvantage, but you are trying to do an incredibly difficult thing here. Yeah, unfortunately, you're not able to get clear of the churning water to start flying. You're not dragged under with that roll, but you definitely don't make any progress toward getting in the air.
All right, I'm gonna try again then. I'm gonna keep trying until I do it.
Okay?
Does he have all 3 people attached to him, or just the 2?
He has the 2 people attached to him at this point. You do manage to get clear. So you fly up with the rope. How far away from yourself did you tie the other 2?
So basically, I'm saying I tied myself to the middle, and then each of them are tied to the ends.
Which are how far away? Like the very, very ends of this rope?
Yeah. And this thing was like 1,000 feet or something.
Yeah, so it goes up 500. Yeah, you fly up above the surface of this maelstrom. You see, of course, it's starting to get dark. In fact, it's gotten fairly dark at this point. There's, a hint of, light on the horizon. Mostly you're seeing starry sky out here. And you see, other than the maelstrom here, an expanse of relatively open ocean. You don't see any other vessels.
Do I see any rocks nearby?
No, this is the middle of the open ocean here.
Shit. Well. Well. Do I know which direction is back towards where we came from?
Call that. You don't have any of the sailor stuff either. Roll me a survival with disadvantage.
Okay. This is gonna be challenging.
You have no idea. These things were swirling around so much, and you just lost all sense of orientation.
Well, in that case, I guess I'll try to fly as high as I can, and then go towards what looks like the nearest edge of the maelstrom.
So you fly up basically 500 feet from the level of the water down there. You basically, you do that. You realize about halfway down that, with the length of rope that you have, without pulling your heavy comrades out of the water, that you're just basically going to run yourself into the maelstrom doing that. It's wider than you have length of rope for.
Shit. This is gonna be a challenge. I'm almost tempted to say we go back down and we just try to go through the pipes. That might be our last option. You know what? I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna suggest it to them.
Okay.
That we go.
I'm not
Shauna,
gonna.
what do you want to do?
I'm not sure about the pipes. We could try, but we don't know much about
pipes seem very dangerous from your close encounter with them.
I agree with Talia.
You're not here.
They seem really dangerous. Remember, I told you I almost got sucked in by those things.
Yeah. But at this point, it might be our last option. We can't go through the tunnel. We can't go. It's either go through the pipes or die.
Unless we let Inanna investigate and bring back information about the Dark Gods. Just throwing it out there.
You know what? Maybe that is a good option. If she, out of character, that is a good idea, because if she can turn off the pipes, even if we don't know that that's what she's doing, that means that we can then escape through the pipes safely. Yeah, let's help her get through this. Let's help her get in there, and then once she's in there, we attempt to go through the pipes.
We have to.
It's our options. That's the best option I can think of. And we really need to get this done, because I don't want to die in here, or I don't want this game to. I want this game to end so we can play Curse of Strahd next week.
Well, you would say that.
Says the person that's been bogging it down. Just saying.
That is true.
All right, then I guess I can give Inanna a hand with that.
Okay. So what's the plan here? Are you going to use the rope for safety again and just try to swim her through? And if so,
Yeah.
Is it just you two going?
Most likely, yeah. I mean, because using the rope for safety would come in handy just in case.
Okay.
Because again, even though I was in there already, I don't know a lot of what's in there. I just looked.
Yeah, you know what you could see at a surface glance. You didn't really search around.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, basically, so at some length at this point, after having gotten that rig together again, you two make your way into the... actually, let me have you make one Constitution save for me, Inanna. Easily enough, you hold your breath for the amount of time it takes Talia to swim you through there. You emerge into the cavern pretty much as I described earlier. The floor is slimy. There's all these pods around you. There's this altar with a bunch of dead people in the middle. Pool of the same greenish fluid that's kind of between you and the altar.
Okay. Any direction from my little conch as to where the switch might be?
I can tell you where the switch is, but we shouldn't be too obvious about getting you there. You wouldn't wish anyone to know that you have insider information after all. But I can tell you that the controls are under the water on the far side of the room.
Okay. So can I untie myself from the rope and then just kind of explore around the cavern, just kind of looking like I'm watching or kind of studying the altar while I'm heading to the far side?
You may definitely do that, yeah. Well, so you're basically you're trying to just swim through the water, or?
Well, I thought you said that there wasn't much water on there. It was just kind of slimy.
No, there is an actual pool of this fluid, water whatever it is in between you and the altar.
Oh, okay. Well,
Basically taking up the entire center of the room.
Yeah, I'll swim. So athletics.
No, I know I don't need an athletics check. However, I do need a Constitution saving throw, please. Okay. So you make it through this water. This water is very, very murky, by the way. All right. I'm gonna have you make me 3 more Constitution saving throws, please, Nana. Okay. So you are diseased, and I will tell you what that means when it comes up.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think so.
No, that's fine. Actually, you do feel some of the effects of it now. As you find yourself kind of struggling for breath in this water, you kind of suddenly like gasp a little bit. Water comes in. You find yourself actually breathing this water. You do make your way to the far side of the chamber. There are first of all, make me a perception check. You feel like kind of a slight like disturbance in the water. You look around, there's nothing there. Seems like it might be just related to the machinery down here. But you do find basically a complex series of switches, levers, wheels, and gauges. They are all massive. I mean, like, the gauges are, about as far across as you are tall, kind of thing. There's no way that you could operate this on your own, even if you knew how. You're just not strong enough to do it.
But wouldn't I be strong enough to harm it?
Sorry, what was that?
Wouldn't I be strong enough to...
I keep hearing, wouldn't I be strong enough, and then you're breaking up.
With my learning room?
You there, Vanessa?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't I be strong enough with my little, like, wormy worm?
He doesn't make you stronger.
Mm.
You will need assistance with this, you hear in your mind. The others, perhaps with everyone here together, you'll be strong enough to operate this. I can show you how it's done, but you are not strong enough on your own. You and the mermaid are not strong enough on your own.
Alright. So, go back to Talia and tell her that we can help back out.
So first of all, make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Shit.
You get out of the water and you nearly collapse. You cannot breathe the second you have left the water.
Talia, anything?
Yeah, Talia, you noticed this for sure.
I am going to try to help get her over to me at least.
Okay. You're just trying to basically drag her over to where you are?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. Yeah, you can do that. You drag her over. You notice that she is appears to be gasping for breath and not able to breathe. Like she's trying to tell you something, but she just can't get the air out of her lungs to do it.
I have to, obviously, if noticing that I just, of course, I still have the rope around me. I'm holding on to her. I give it a couple tugs and then go under with her so we can get out of here.
Yeah, as soon as you're underwater again, Inanna, you can breathe and you can speak. Vanessa, did we lose you?
What?
You can basically now breathe water, but you can't breathe air. Is the long and short of it.
Okay. I tell her, I'll tell Talia that I found something interesting, in the tunnels, but I need everybody's help.
If everyone will be willing to come down here, that is.
And I start going through the pipes.
I'm just looking at Inanna. Are you alright, Inanna? You weren't able to speak before I got you in here.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, honestly.
Since your breathing stabilized and you're talking now, I'm assuming you're able to breathe here, but probably not on the surface. It's just a guess, but I'm not 100% sure.
I guess we'll just have to see whenever we get back to the group.
Good point. How long does it take us to get back there, considering I gave the signal to pull us back too?
It takes you about, with you assisting her, it takes you to probably about a minute to get back to the surface.
Once they get back, I am going to, me and Aaron are going to start going towards the pipes.
Okay.
Because we're going to dive down and we're going to use that because that's the only method that we can get. It's
all right.
time to...
which pipe are you going to go toward? Hang on, let me zoom my map out and then ask you which pipe you're going to go toward.
The one that's closest to the ship.
Okay.
This one.
So you swim down, I would say with Aaron's assistance, yeah, you don't need to make an athletics check for this. You see, as I described earlier, this, like, basically massive, like, bronze-looking plate, essentially, that's circular, and appears to match the description that you were given. It is closed at the moment.
It's closed?
Yep.
Well, can Aaron see one that's open?
This is the only one that you can see from where you are. Remember, these things are hundreds of feet apart from each other.
Good point. So I guess we'll go up to the surface and we'll start going around to each one until we find one that's open.
Okay. How close are you getting to these things, by the way?
Pretty dang close.
Okay. Grief.
We're obviously going above the surface before we go down to each plate, but...
So basically, you make your way kind of... you going clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
So, yeah, you basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this guy up here, as you're approaching this plate, it suddenly, like, sucks itself open, and I need you to make me a... Gosh, what was that? Hang on.
Dex save, I think. Dex save.
Yeah, it was a dex save, yes.
I mean, considering the fact that we're trying to go through the pipe,
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact that this is a machine that you're dealing with here.
True.
Okay. So yeah, you both get sucked in. You are going to take... You take 5 bludgeoning damage, as does Auron, but I'm not really tracking her at this point. You, like, feel yourself, like... Have you ever been on, like, one of those, like, water slides where it's like, you know, instead of, like, the steady stream of water going down the slide, there's, like, this basically, like, surge, and it's like you're flushed down a toilet kind of thing?
I haven't been down one of those now.
Okay. Well, imagine that, but upward. You are basically sucked, like, immensely quickly up through this thing. You don't even really get it's pitch black for one thing, but you don't really get even a feel for the place you've been pushed through. But you find yourself being pushed upward and then slightly to the side. You find yourself basically mid-water in the middle of the maelstrom, both of you.
All right.
And you are... So at this point, you're getting sucked in. You are in the water. So we need to go back to that.
I'm going to start trying to fly, I guess.
Well, you're going to need to make it to the surface first.
Probably going to start swimming.
You're going to need to make it to the surface before you start doing any flying, buddy. So... Alright. I know I have this in here somewhere. Okay, character is in the maelstrom. Okay. So I need a... First round, DC 50, Constitution save. Okay, that makes it. So you're going to take half of this. Oh, that is not what I wanted to type. You take 4 bludgeoning damage. Make me an athletics check with disadvantage.
Athletics.
Ooh.
Shit. Well, I'm dead.
Oh, that's pretty freaking severe too. Yeah, as you're trying to swim upward, you find yourself just at the mercy of the current. You like slam your head basically against a rock and you pass out. So we will come back to you, I guess.
Well, then we're back in the frickin' ocean. Or back in the cave, I guess.
On the plus side, you've kind of got some insight into how this machine works now.
Yep. And we're dead. We're just dead.
I'm going to say basically a few minutes later, just to speed things up. I don't want to be rolling all this out, but I'm going to assume that you haven't really like gone to 0 hit points. You've just been knocked unconscious because of that nat 1, but you wake up a few minutes later. You basically you and Auron have basically washed up more or less on the shore. I should randomize this actually, where you guys actually are. You guys actually wash up somewhere where you don't see the ship. You are conscious, but not feeling good. You know, again, very battered, very bruised. You feel like you could very well have died, and you're not sure how you survived that, honestly.
And Perry has given up. So where am I?
You are basically right here, if you can see it.
I don't see your mark.
So it's basically to the southwest of where the whirlpool is, or the eye is.
This one?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I've given up. He gives up. He's going to bed.
Okay, Perry's going to bed, apparently. What are the rest of y'all doing? You see, those of you that are nearby, you've seen them basically go and disappear under the water for a long time.
He probably went through one of those pipes. Idiot.
Told you. I told you that's what it was.
Anyway, Nana found something, but she needs help with. She thinks it may help us, but we're not sure what it is.
I found some levers down there, and I just need assistance pulling them down. Perhaps one of them could stop this maelstrom and we could get out of here.
That's an idea.
By the way, I assume kind of like keeping your head underwater and just like speaking through the surface as you're doing this.
For the most part, I guess, since I can't really breathe outside of water.
But yeah, basically she's close enough to where you guys get the gist of it, even if you don't happen to be underwater.
Excuse me.
Yes.
30 to 40 minutes ago, I was told that I was not present at whatever the scene was happening was, and so I stopped participating. I've been waiting since that time to be told that I was actually present.
Oh yeah, you're
So
definitely present.
As far as I know, I've not been with the group. As far as I know, I've not been with the group for hours.
I told you actually, probably 20 minutes or so ago, that you guys had conglomerated. But anyways,
So,
yes, you are
anyway,
there.
as far as I know, everything's happening. I've had no input on it.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were clear on the fact that everyone was together, but maybe that got cut out too.
Well, I heard they conglomerated, and then we had one person decision, and then it all went forward, and there wasn't an opportunity to have any input. So I don't know where we are. So
yeah, there's been a lot of that going on, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But what would you like to be doing at this point?
If I had a clear idea what was happening, I think I might know what I was doing. Do I have any awareness of Inanna's actual motivations?
Roll me an. Yeah, roll me an insight for this. Well, she's definitely shady. She has engaged in some questionable activities. She, it's see with that roll. You know what? To be fair, I should roll something off screen here. Except her sheet won't pop open, of course. Yeah, you do get the impression that she's not telling you the whole story.
I tell Talia that I don't trust Inanna, and we should try to get out of here without her.
Since when have you trusted her?
Thursday. That's a good point. What do you think we should do?
If she's telling the truth about those switches, they could stop this thing. Which means we could probably find a way out of here a lot easier, but if not, I don't know what will happen.
Do you think that Harry went through one of the tunnels? Hello?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Talia, do you think that Perry went through one of the tunnels?
Perhaps. As for whether he ended up somewhere near land, or just back where the ship was before we came here, I don't know.
want to ask a favor of you, Deshaun. I mean, Talia. If you push me through one of those tunnels, I don't care what you do after that.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, please.
I suppose.
I will always be in your debt.
Just be careful.
Thank you, Princess Leia.
All right, so fast forward this because you're kind of intentionally going to be doing this. Talia, you kind of have some idea based on having experienced it earlier how these things work. We're going to forego the dexterity save for the person that wants to get sucked in. But Talia, why don't you go ahead and make me a dex save with advantage to avoid getting sucked in with him?
Dex save, you said, right?
Assuming you don't want to get sucked in with him.
Apparently not at this point.
Okay, yeah, you managed to avoid it just fine. So, Thorgrin, as I described before with the parry, you get sucked out into the middle of this maelstrom, essentially. So first thing I need you to do is make me a Constitution save. Okay, so that's going to be half. Okay, well, you managed to avoid taking any damage from the pummeling waves at this point. So you're in the middle of this thing. Again, kind of not anywhere near the surface that you can tell. What are you going to do?
Okay. I have. So I have elemental. Can I use an elemental weapon to cut through the water?
Let me check a few things before I answer that.
Okay.
Elemental weapon. You cannot cast because it is a verbal component, and you currently cannot speak. So no, at this point you cannot. Basically, if you look at your spells in the list, by the way, if you see next to the spell name on the far right is some small letters that say VS, VSM, etc. Anything with a V on it is a verbal component. By the way, you are sinking fast because you are very heavy with metal armor and stuff.
I want to drop my armor and try to swim upward.
You could drop the hammer pretty easily. In order to get the armor off is going to take probably a few minutes that you don't have.
And I want to try and swim upward.
Okay. Roll me an athletics with disadvantage. You're not really making any progress at this point. And I need another Constitution save, please. You're getting the part of last session you missed out on. Fun. So that will be... does that make it or not? I think that did not make it. Let me check. That did not make it. Okay, so you're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you get buffeted around. That's the word I was looking for, buffeted. And then you want to keep attempting?
Yes.
Okay, so another athletics with disadvantage. I don't want to say you're making headway at this point, but it doesn't seem like you're sinking any faster than you were. And next round here, go ahead and make me another con save. Okay, so you're going to take half on that, so 2 points of bludgeoning damage. And then you may attempt, assuming that's what you're doing, you may attempt another athletics.
Yes.
Okay, this time you make your way a little bit toward the surface. You see the telltale glimmer of light, like off the surface of the water. Still a ways away, but you seem to be closer than you were. So another con save. Okay, this is going to be half. So 4 points of bludgeoning damage that time around. And you may make me another athletics. Again, doesn't look like you're really making progress, but you haven't, at least, you don't seem to be sinking much. Sorry, this is a bit repetitive, but it is what it is. It's a long and
Sorry,
long
how many hit
process.
points was I supposed to subtract? I now see that. Okay.
So last time around was 4. And then
Okay.
another con save. Okay, that's going to be full. So 7 more points of bludgeoning damage. And then you may make me another athletics. Oof. Well, it's not a natural 20 because of disadvantage, but you do. You're close to the surface at this point. Like, you can almost look and see like sky beyond, just out of your grasp, basically. So 1 more con save. This is going to be full, so 9 points of bludgeoning damage this round, and then another athletics. Oh, wow, you're doing so well at that, even with disadvantage. Okay, yeah, you break the surface at this point. You see, as I described earlier, at this point, there's barely any light left in the sky. It's all more or less starry night sky that you see above you. Swirling waters, of course, all around you. You don't see much beyond that, but you are able to finally catch a breath. So what are you doing from here?
I want to try to get out of the swirling water.
Are you trying to swim toward the edge of the maelstrom?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, first of all, Constitution save, because you're still in the water. Okay, that's full. Full 1 point of damage there. And then another athletics. Okay, you're swimming outward. You, as hard as you can. It seems like you're getting sucked in faster than you're making progress outward. By the way, let me know if you're doing anything different. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of keep doing the course here. So, Constitution save.
I don't know any other way to do it.
That's fair. Okay, so this is going to be half. Well, that's a good thing that was half, because that's 5 points. And then another athletics. All right. Yeah, again, you get pulled more toward the center. Not as quickly as you would have if you hadn't been struggling against it. But con save. This is going to be half. So 1 point. And then another athletics. Again, you kind of feel like you're making some progress, but it's just you're getting sucked in faster. You're starting to get toward the funnel area of this, where you're just kind of going round and round in circles pretty quickly. It's kind of hard to even tell what way is up at this point. One more.
30 seconds.
Con save. Oops. Yeah, that's right. All right. So I need one more con save. Okay, that's going to be full, so 3 points of bludgeoning damage. And then you may make me another athletics. Yeah, valiant effort at the last minute, but you just basically get pulled under. You find yourself, as before, just plummeting down through this waterfall type scenario. Go deep into this pool. You manage to eventually make your way to the surface, but you're being buffeted by waves. You end up washing up on. Let me roll for you. You end up washing up on the northern shore here. Exhausted, battered up a little bit, but actually, surprisingly, considering you were a heavily armored dwarf person, surprisingly intact.
Technical difficulties. Oh, how we love you. No, we don't.
No plan survives contact with the players.